Hey everybody, welcome to Pretentious Taste. My name's Danny.
I'm Madison.
I'm RJ.
Uh, I'm Chewy, I think. I forgot what my alias is. Like, what am I known as?
Who knows anymore?
Choo
Uh,
choo.
I've been given so many I've been dealing with so many aliases in the past month. I don't even know.
Do you have a preferred one?
I mean, my first one was just my name, but Chewy on Tumblr just fits. It's so easy at some
Mhm.
point, and everyone knows it. That one worked there. When I go
Yeah.
to my other job, just out of Scarborough, which is the suburb of Toronto, I think probably the most diverse in the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I go by my middle name. It's Peter,
Peter.
because that's easier to swallow than my actual name.
Oh.
And most people that call me my actual name actually call me a shortened version of my actual name. A very mysterious boy.
Well,
By many names.
My name is Kojima X.
I love your Skype name right now so much. The Federal Taxes Club remix.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It's real good.
Sometimes you forget.
So today this is a very special episode of Pretentious Taste. We say that for every episode, but this one's actually special. Uh, because it's the annual Knife Fight Fuck City AOTY 2015.
Coined
The very first.
the very first.
annual, the very first.
The
Yeah,
first
they're really
very
betraying Danny on this one.
It's special, and it's so special that we're not even going to talk about ourselves. We're just going to get straight into the mixer because 2015 has been a big year for a lot of things,
It
and
really has.
it's been a huge year for music. And
Yep.
so,
Yes.
we all got together and we gave our top 10 albums of the year, which we'll be talking about shortly.
Mhm.
And then after that, Maddie was a cherub and compiled all of our lists to give the official Pretentious Tastes top 10 album of the years. So these are some albums that you might have heard of. A lot of these albums we have reviewed, I'm sure. And for the albums that you haven't heard of, well, they're on our top 10 list. So you might as well check them out.
Yep.
Um,
I
so I
thought the
guess
word
we'll
was with cherub.
cherub.
Yeah,
What about it?
you said cherub.
Yeah, cherub.
Are you saying cherub like with an sh or like cherub like a
A
ch?
tiny angel.
I mix
Ni-
between both. I mean, they're the same thing, right?
I don't like that. I don't like that mix. You have to be
The
consistent.
knife fight begins, and no option.
I don't like it.
So, without any further ado, would anybody like to take the reins, or would they mind if I started?
You know what, Danny? Go for it.
Oh, that's not how I
All
expected
right,
it to go.
all right, all
What
right.
is your top 10? Go from 10 to 1, obviously, because we're not animals.
You can do
Yeah,
it all sub style,
I will do
like
that
David
right
Cage.
now.
All right.
All right. So, starting off the list, I'm just gonna say, uh, gonna go ahead and list off some honorable mentions real quick.
Yeah.
My first honorable mention is to a very polarizing album that was put out by Liturgy this year. It is called The
Mm.
Artwork. It is a black metal album, but don't expect any harsh vocals. I've talked about this album kind of briefly. If you listen to that podcast way back in like July when we did the half year, I mentioned it might be in my top five. It has moved down the list, but it's a polarizing album. You either love it or you hate it. And there are a lot of people who think it's one of the worst albums to be released this year, but I really
Damn.
loved it. I liked the ideas on it a lot. I thought the execution was a bit sloppy, which is why it's an honorable mention. But yeah. And my second honorable mention is going to go to Future and Drake's "What a Time to Be Alive."
Damn.
Uh,
Go on.
Really?
yeah,
Damn.
I
And
will
I was
say,
holding back on the liturgy thing, but we're just going all in right here.
yeah. This is an album that I wasn't really expecting to be good at all. I heard a lot of mixed things about it, a lot of bad things as well. I'm not a Future fan. I'm not a Drake fan, really. And I was really pleasantly surprised by this, to be honest with you guys. First of all, Jumpman is a great single, and I think most people know that. Uh, that's
It
good. But
is.
also, just another song that I really enjoyed is the closer on this thing, 30 for 30 Freestyle. It's I think it's just a Drake only song, if I remember correctly. One of the things that came out to me on this LP was the production. That was what shined the most. I really liked a lot of the beats on this thing. And if you haven't heard it yet and you were thinking about maybe listening to it, I would say go ahead, because you're either going to come out of it, getting what you expected, which was most people are saying it's like not that great, or pleasantly surprised. And I was pleasantly surprised with it. I enjoyed it. So that being said, going right into the list, my number 10 album is "Beat the Champ" by the Mountain Goats. I just recently started listening to the Mountain Goats seriously, and so I was like, well, fuck it, I might as well check out this album.
Wait,
I'm not
one
really the
second.
biggest. Yeah.
Sorry, isn't the Mountain Goats that band that what the asshole's name? John Green likes?
He loves
Yeah, it's
them.
John Green's
Yes.
favorite band. But
Oh
John
my
Green
god.
also likes Milk Hotel, so I'm not going to let him ruin anything for me.
Well, good thing I haven't heard like freaking. What's that one album they did that was really good? Oh my god! Wow, man, it's been a bad holiday.
You're
I'm
talking about the
gonna,
Mountain
I'm gonna, I'm gonna,
Neutral Milk. Neutral
Aeroplane.
Milk.
I'm gonna be a
Yeah,
contrarian here and
that
say
one's
that
alright.
John Green isn't that bad of a person.
He's
Oh
not.
no.
No,
No.
he's
No.
Actually, wait a
I don't
second.
know.
No, fuck that.
I don't know.
Think about
I don't know.
Wait a second. I don't know, man. Didn't he basically trick his wife into like dating him or something?
I don't know
No?
about that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He
Did.
sent like he made it seem like he was sending a group email, but he only sent one email to her, so that she would go on a date with him. Of like everybody go like, hey guys, who wants to go to the movies? And he made it seem like he was sending it to multiple people, but he just sent it to her.
Well, oh well.
I
But
mean, that's
yeah,
just.
this
I
isn't
mean, that's not
These are the
fucking
sins that Jesus died for.
this isn't
like.
the John Green cast. All
Yeah,
right.
and
Yeah.
that's not a huge deal to me. It's gross, but I'm not like, oh, let's fuck this
Yeah.
guy. Like that's just. It doesn't help that I'm not interested in his work, and I don't think he's a good writer, so that doesn't help.
I don't think he's a good writer either. So.
He's not a good writer.
But yeah. Besides the Mountain Goats being John Green's favorite band, they're really good.
Oof.
And John Darnell's lyricism is what really shined to me on this thing. I'm not really the biggest fan of wrestling. I haven't really watched wrestling since I was a kid. I think some of it's like kind of like funny, but that's about as far as it goes. But a lot of the stories on this album, he uses wrestling almost as a metaphor for a lot of different things, like just getting punched in the face and drop kicked by life and shit like that. So
Heavy.
really, really interesting.
Relatable.
Yeah,
Drop
it's
kick.
good. I liked it a lot. My next up album, my number 9, is "Frozen Niagara Falls" by the Prurient. This is an album we reviewed.
I
I
think
said
it's
it
just
horrified me.
prurient.
Prurient, the Prurients, whatever it is. Um, it's really fantastic. Like I said, we do have a review of that. Um, I give it a 9 on that. I still think that score is fantastic. It's a double album. It is industrial power electronics noise.
Scream emo or screamo, I would say, not emo.
Yeah, it's like this smorgasbord of harsh music, and it's fucking good. My number 8 is Depression Cherry. Reviewed that on the site as well for the podcast. Really like Depression Cherry. Still really like Depression Cherry, and I actually think it might be Beach House's best. So it's a dream poppy shoegaze. Good album. Number 7 we didn't review on the site. It is "Have You in My Wilderness" by Julia Holter. Recently listened to this record, doing my just catch up to see what albums might make it on this list before 2015 ends. And even though 2015 is over now, I did listen to this album last year, and it's really fantastic singer songwriter music. Julia Holter, this is probably her most accessible album. It sounds like you're vacationing in New England and you're on the docks at night and the sea breeze is hitting you in the face. It's a fantastic album. Really honestly would recommend this to like fans of Sufjan, people who like Elliott Smith, just those type of artists. And it's really colorful imagery on this album. I really enjoyed it a lot. My number 6 is "Garden of Delete" by One-O-Trix Point Never. Talked about this last episode, and at first I thought this would be my album of the year, but upon further thought and further re-listens, it didn't make the cut, unfortunately. But I still highly recommend it. It's a fantastic experimental electronic album. definitely definitely a good listen. This is where we get into the shit, folks. Um, so my number 5 is "To Pimp a Butterfly" by Kendrick Lamar.
Gasp.
For a lot of people and on a lot of lists, I'm seeing really mostly on lists. I'm seeing Art Angels and this, and it's
Yeah.
those two that are the big ones.
You were saying on this
Yeah,
list you see Art Angels or this.
yeah, and that should tell you something. I'm not a contrarian. I don't really consider myself a contrarian. I do think this is one of the best albums ever put out this year. It probably one of the best albums put out in the decade. To Pimp a Butterfly, you know, I'm sure you're going to be hearing it a lot on this episode. It's an important record. At the end of the day, this will go down as probably one of the best albums in hip hop. It does so many things, and it does them all incredibly well. And Kendrick Lamar is a fantastic rapper, and I feel like the only way you could not like this album is if you were like a contrarian, because
Or if you didn't
it's.
like hip hop in general.
Yeah.
But like I would say that my grandmother doesn't listen to hip hop, and I put this on the car all the time, and she likes it. She likes the
Wow.
funk, the soul,
I'll
and the beats a lot.
try to get my dad into it then.
Get him in
It's
the get him on the one song where Kendrick's just screaming.
Yeah.
uh,
Ah. Anyway,
my only issue with this album, the reason it's not my album of the year, is one, I do think that there have been better albums to come out this year. And
I mean, that's it.
that's gonna if this were if my top four, if my 1 through 4 didn't exist, then To Pimp a Butterfly would be my album of the year. I mean, it's a fantastic. And I think on first, like, we reviewed it for our first episode, so it's got a pretty special place in my heart.
Mhm.
And I gave it like a 9.5, I think, and I'm still standing by that because I don't care for Mama. But besides that, every song on here is like perfect, and I don't know. To Pimp a Butterfly is fucking great.
All right.
But I do think that there are better albums, and I think a better album is "I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside" by Earl Sweatshirt. First
Man, oh
10,
man.
really like that album. I think it's cohesive. I think it's concise. I think it knows what it wants to do, and it does it incredibly well. I think it's one of the best introspective rap albums ever. The atmosphere is oppressive, but not too oppressive. The production's incredible. And I think Earl is a fantastic rapper, even though his flow can be a bit sloppy sometimes. I think at the end of the day, this album is from front to back, just an album that I can put on basically whenever. It's really good for driving around at night. And I don't know, I like this album a lot. And, a lot of people kind of think it's mediocre, but,
Opinions.
and I get those complaints. Like, I understand them. Like, I mean, if you guys have anything to say about that, I don't like shit. I'm sure you do. Like,
I'm good.
I'm good.
My opinion's lessened on it, but I still think it's a really good album.
yeah,
Basically, yeah, I enjoyed it, but
Like, I still enjoy it and everything.
yeah, it's just
So
I didn't enjoy it as much, but that's just like an opinion in the end.
yeah, of course. My number 3 is "Carrie and Lowell" by Sufjan Stevens. Uh, this is one of those albums that it's kind of rare, but I'm gonna open up a little bit on this podcast. "Carrie and Lowell" makes me cry like a baby.
there's
This
that one
album,
song. I don't want to interrupt you, but I think it's kind of known that I'm not really a big Sufjan fan.
Yeah.
yeah,
But when I did attempt listening to this album, I have heard in its entirety. I can't remember what song it is. It might be like the first song.
Every
Cause
song
someone
is sad.
can you give me the intro lyrics to the first song? Does anyone know?
Um, Spirit
Life
of my Silence.
suck. No, I was thinking Eugene. Whoops. Go ahead.
"Spirit of My Silence, I Can Hear You, but I'm afraid
That
to be near you."
that song, man. That
Yeah.
oh god.
Yeah.
For me, the one that gets it is "The Only Thing."
God, that song's painful. It hurts live too, like
I fucking
real
bet.
deep.
God, I would
Yeah.
never watch Sufjan live. Jesus
It
Christ.
cuts so deep. It's just him on stage singing, and it's like overwhelming, to say the least.
Yeah, I can't imagine that live. I like some of the live cuts a little bit more than the studio cuts, though.
Oh, I
That
do too, actually.
that live cut of "All of Me Wants All of You," where it's more R&B.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
I
it's
can't
really
even
good.
imagine that.
it's fantastic.
It's funky. He does like dad dances. It's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, no, I can't imagine that. Actually, that's cool.
but yeah, this is one of those albums that I think it can hit a lot of people pretty hard. Our generation kind of is known for the rate of like divorce and shit like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
jeez.
Or the generation above us rather is, and we're kind of the
Up
how
and
do I put it?
comers.
The Offspring.
Yeah, we're the ones who have to go through it
Hey,
and shit,
keep them
whatever.
separated.
But so this album can definitely cut deep for a lot of people. It's a really universal. A
Hmm.
lot of themes on this I feel are universal, and I don't know. I just think that this is. At first, I didn't like it too much, but it really, really grew on me.
Mhm.
And it's one of those albums again that I can just basically put on at any time and just from start to finish just enjoy. It's never too much. It's never a rough listen, really.
Yeah.
It's a really comfy album, honestly.
Mhm.
Um, and everything about it's great. I like the small elements of drone that occasionally shine through endings of certain tracks. And overall, Carry On is a fantastic one. My number two is The Most Lamentable Tragedy by Titus Andronicus. Um, I've said basically everything I've needed to say about this record. So I'm gonna try and keep this short, but this is one of the best rock albums like put out in 2000s probably. It's fucking great. It's catchy. It's layered. You know it's a good album. It's almost like this. This is gonna be a really weird comparison, but hear me out on this.
Mhm.
Um, it reminds me a lot of Green Day's American Idiot,
Ugh.
I can see that.
but like American Idiot was the album I needed when I was like 8 or 9, and I feel like this album is a more like matured and like better
Okay. Yeah, I can
and
see
like
Hmm.
version. Like
It's the grown-up version.
yeah,
for grown-ups. American
for
Idiot for grown-ups.
yeah, that's a terrible.
Wow.
American Idiot, but good and for grown-ups.
Wow.
It's like Skyrim with the guns. Um,
Oh my god, that's one of the worst box sets of all time. Let me just say, fuck that quote. I hate Far Cry 3. I hate that fucking game. Anyway,
Good
go on.
game.
I hate that
Anyway.
game.
and my number one album of 2015 is
Oh,
Speedin' Bullet to Heaven by Kid Cudi.
You're so
no
cute.
more chicken
It
sandwiches, man. Not
and
You
the,
again.
and
know,
the podcast crashes down like a
you know,
speeding bullet to heaven.
you know. Sorry for the damages. That's all I gotta
I'll
say,
pay
guys.
for the sandwiches.
Yeah, no more chicken sandwiches.
No more chicken sandwiches. I'll
I'll
pay
pay
for
for
the damage.
damages. That's the lyric. You
Every
see that
time I
Vince
have
Staples
a chicken
tweeted
sandwich,
that?
the spider.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Um, my actual album of the year, what a shock, is it's Harmlessness by The World's a Beautiful Place. Saw them live this year. It was incredible. Um, this
It-
album's fucking incredible. This album's incredible. It's an incredible album. You should listen to it if
Is
you
it
haven't.
incredible though?
It's incredible.
It's
Uh,
incredible.
what a great album though. Like what a great fucking album. I don't even know like really it it's like I feel like there's so much to say about this record that I'm blanking right now, but like
I get it.
Understand.
it's so good. Like
Yes.
from the moment it starts to the moment it ends, the pacing is really what shines the most for me. Every song, for the most part, goes into one another, and when you finally hit I Can Be Afraid of Anything, it builds up into this. It feels like this entire album is building up to it.
Yeah.
Like the pacing on this record it fucking blows my mind. And on top of it, it's catchy. It's a really catchy album. Every song has a really catchy hook for the most part.
Question.
Yes.
Is that the is that the outro or the outro Mountain Hum?
The outro
That's
is
the outro.
but I feel like
I have the CD here. Yeah, no, because the outro is Mountain Hum.
yeah. I feel like I Can Be Afraid of Anything is the climax of the album, and then
Yeah,
Mountain
yeah,
Hum
yeah.
is like the downtime.
Yeah.
Like it's the
Epilogue.
The
even the
dénouement.
yeah, it definitely doesn't like their first album ends on their climax, which is Getting Sodas, which
Yeah.
is a huge build, and I Can Be Afraid of Anything is kind of like the sequel to that song because
Mm.
it has the same formula almost. It's got this really huge build, and then it ends, and then Mount Hum comes in, and I feel like that was a really good way to end this album. You're not left wanting more. I feel it's satisfying. You get the punch of the build up from Mount Hum, and then or the punch of the build up from I Can Be Afraid of Anything, and then you get Mount Hum as something to fulfill you. And I don't know. I really love this record. This is my favorite album put out this year. If you haven't listened to it yet, you should listen to it. And if you have listened to it, let
Do it
me know
again.
Listen
about
to
it.
it more.
Do it again.
I've listened to this record so fucking much though. It is such an easy album for me to just okay, it's done. Put it back on because it it has January 10th, 2014 at like the very beginning, and so that's always something to look forward to.
Yeah.
The
Let's
song,
talk about that.
it's a good song,
That was
but
such a great song.
yeah, that's my top 10, and
Mm.
whoever wants the ball can pick it right up.
Give me
All right.
that rock. I'll
Take it.
take that.
See how long
Okay.
Chewy goes on today.
Oh, I'm that guy now.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I have a few honorable mentions here, probably a little more than Danny. It was kind of hard. The number 10 spot was like in flux right up until I wrote it. So here are some of them. Technically, the first one I'm going to mention is an EP, and that's FK Twigs, Melissa. It's
You.
like 5 songs. It's not as substantial as LP1, obviously, but it's a damn good 5 songs. She goes interesting places in terms of like it's a good preview of what she's gonna do on her next album. Whatever LP2 is really going to be, I'm really excited for, based on what I've heard on Melissa. Uh, not a lot of people talked about it, but Natalie Press, she had an album that came out this year. It's like her first album. Came out well, actually not this year. Now it's January 2016. But it's almost been a year since her album came out. That came out like way in the beginning. It was self-titled. It's a really good, weird, like singer-songwriter album. I think there's some soul. Anyway, there's some some soul and country in there, and Birds of Prey is probably the highlight of that album. It's just really good. Uh, Viet Cong, which is a very reprehensible name.
Yeah.
I'll just call it VC because I never liked that name. But anyway, their record this
I've
year,
heard it's good.
it was quite good. It was very Joy Division esque in some ways, but in other ways it was a little less what's the word? Because basically Joy Division sometimes can be really frigid, like really
Yeah.
barren sounding. It was a little fuller than that, but it was really good record. Probably one of the records I listened to the most, if not the most this year, which was Passion Pit's Kindred. I like Passion Pit. I think it was a good album because the interesting thing about Passion Pit is they're really they make like really like amazingly catchy songs, like really great sugary sort of jittery dance pop, but they're all buried with really deeply personal lyrics. Like the last album, Gossamer, was basically about his mental health and like deterioration of that record. Which actually, when that album first came out, I was really that was probably the album I most listened to in 2012, and for reasons I won't get into. But yeah, I like Kindred. Well, I mean, it's a collection of good songs, but also it's nice to see that his life is coming around. And things were going well. And that's just a figure story. And then the last honorable mention is Tobias Jesso Jr.'s Goon. It's a really good sort of Piano Man record, and the last song, Leaving LA, really hit me because I was in LA this year. I was in California. I was all around California this year, but
You
it's
didn't even
always.
visit me. It's fine.
I know, I
It's
know,
fine.
I
It's
know,
fine.
I
It's
know.
fine.
I couldn't
It's
leave the
fine.
purview of
It's
my
fine.
family.
It's okay. No, I'm just kidding.
And so leaving LA and it's the album, every time I hear that song, like I see myself. I can see where I was waiting for the shuttle from like the rental place where the E3 posters were still up and getting to LAX and then getting on the plane and slowly leaving and seeing Long Beach in the air and stuff like that. So whenever I hear that song, it really makes me sort of sad. But anyway, fuck that. On to the top 10. Number 10. Drake's, if you're reading this, it's too late. Drake was actually supposed to have 2 records in 2015.
Yeah, where the heck?
Yeah.
It's
The second one was supposed to be Views from the Six, and this was like a surprise EP, not EP, a mixtape that he released. But like, one thing I love about 2015, and I'm gonna credit another artist who I'm gonna mention just after this. It's like the idea of making a junk mixtape or a mixtape like, oh, I'm just practicing or something. You can't fucking do that shit anymore. Like you can't just be like, ah, man, this is just, you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm doing. No, it has to be good.
right.
Um, yeah, so there are a lot of really good singles. I think on if you're reading this is too late, but just in general, I like how feral Drake is becoming as like sadistic as that sounds. Like he's becoming really paranoid in songs like Star 6 7,
Yeah.
or even like Know Yourself. Even
Yeah.
songs that are like lighter. Like there's a real sense that he's. I don't know what the fuck that next record is going to be, but I have a feeling like I think Nice Guy Drake is almost dead.
Let's
Like
hope so.
I know there's some people are a bit disillusioned by that this year, but I honestly don't think Drake's making any bones about the shit that he's doing anymore. But I think next record he's really not fucking around. I don't
Let's hope
think.
so.
I
Yeah,
don't.
so like, the production isn't as good as it could be. I won't lie. In some areas, like Six God, I think that's a really weak instrumental. But generally
Hmm.
speaking, like 6 p.m. in New York, really good. It's really good songs all around, and I think Drake's consistency generally is still on an upswing. Uh, Number 9 is Neon Indian Vegas International Night School, or Vegas International bracket, or the colon slash, yeah,
Mhm.
slash Night School.
Hmm.
I've been waiting for Neon Indian to fucking come back for years now. Um, to the point where I'm like, is this guy ever gonna show up again? I don't think so. And then randomly, track came out, Annie, which is one of the best songs on that entire record.
Right.
Um, and when that album dropped, like at first I didn't really like it all that much. I won't lie. Like I was a little sad. I'm like, oh, this is okay. But I listened to it more. I actually got a job, another job. Just when I got my new job after being unemployed for like 3 months, 4 months, and it was on the other side of the city, and that was a weird, bizarre place where I was training and stuff, and so it fit the record because the record is like this. I described it like a you know those Game Boy 101 games where they're
Yeah.
Yeah.
all like weird knockoffs of Pokemon
Yeah.
and Mario. It's like that, except like 100 different ways to do a Michael Jackson record. So this weird, bizarre thing, and I'm at this weird, bizarre neighborhood in Toronto. Like, what? This is perfect. And then I sort of clicked because the thing with that record is there are so many individual pieces like flickering off each other that if you like, God only knows what that like if you were to put all that shit in Fruity Loops, how many layers there would be. Like how many like just how many elements are in every song. Like it's this weird sort of jittery drug-induced night disco album that have like different things ping ponging off each other, but they all come together in one like
Right.
cohesive way. I really for a while it's higher on my list, but I thought about it and I'm like, well, you know, it is what it is. So I'd ask why it is at number 9.
Woo.
Mhm.
Number 8. What is number 8? Oh, I just forgot it.
Surf.
Yes, number 8 is Surf. Now, I'm gonna bring up not the topic, the thing I brought up earlier with mixtapes and the general upswing of the quality. That's really a lot of ways thanks to Chance.
Mhm.
I really do credit Acid Rap as being this record that everyone, when that thing came out like 2 years ago, and it hit the way it did, and it was on so many lists, and so many people were talking about it. And now Chance has slowly become this really big new rapper. He did all that shit off the back of mixtapes.
Yeah.
And fucking Surf is a free LP. And and I really do think it's one of the best, hip hop records of the year.
I haven't even
Uh,
heard it yet. I've been
it's
so
Yeah.
bad.
Other.
it's an interesting record. It goes places.
I really like Chance.
There's
a lot.
at first I thought it was like I was imagining
Mhm.
some of the relationships to the Beach Boys because you know how I be.
Yeah.
But
Of course.
no, the way it intros and the way it outros, no, that's fucking Beach Boys. That cannot be. I can't mistake that for anything else. I'm not like jumping at shadows. And I just think it's a really good. One thing I love about Chance is like he makes just really good feel good hip hop. Like in a way, he's filling a void that like early De La Soul had.
Right.
Like shit like the Daisy Age and like Me Myself and I. And I feel Surf really gets into that with songs like Trying to Be Cool, which is weird sort of Michael Jackson like pop thing, but also there's a bunch of rappers on it. And Big Sean actually has a good verse. Like I didn't think he was capable of doing those anymore.
Wow.
And his verse is okay. Busta Rhymes is on this record. Janelle Monáe is on this record. Erykah Badu. There's a lot of really good guest spots. And sorry, there's something in my throat. I like how Chance goes like, well, this isn't a Chance the Rapper. Like this isn't Acid Rap 2. This is the social experiment. Like, this is the group thing. So he will willingly take himself out of song completely so that other people like Nate Fox and like Peter Contail and these kind of people shine, in different ways.
Mhm.
And I think overall, Dem's good eats.
Dem's
Dem's
good
good
eats.
eats. Yes.
Confirm.
I respect Chance a lot for that, actually.
Yeah.
Number. Wow, I was gonna say 7 in French, but it was set. Actually, can I bring attention to one thing, Maddie? What word did you say earlier? It started with a D.
What?
I think Danny was talking about the closing of Harmlessness,
Okay.
and we are talking about what Mountain Hum was, and you said a D word.
I didn't say a D word.
Oh,
What?
like
Was
Den
it?
something.
Oh,
Den.
denouement.
That word is denouement.
Denouement?
Yes.
See, in my screenwriting class, my screenwriting teacher pronounced it denouement. That I was lied to.
Uh,
It's spelled like this, like
it's
it.
Duoment, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
denouement.
denouement.
I've
You know,
never.
when you said word with a
French.
D, I actually thought you were talking about Dunkin' Donuts.
God damn it.
Wow.
Our listeners don't know, but we have a
No,
sponsorship
no,
with Dunkin'
no,
No,
Donuts.
we don't.
no,
If you go
I'm
to
no,
DunkinDonuts.com,
No,
no,
no.
gonna let this go.
all right.
Oh.
denouement. All right, thank you. Now I don't sound like an uncultured swine.
Yeah, I mean that's just what I've said. And I don't know, like French is like
Yeah,
compulsory
because you're in Canada
in
and they have
Canada.
French
So
people
yeah.
there.
Speaking of,
Number set, which is 7 in French, is I'm actually surprised this wasn't on Danny's list. Is
um,
Parrots by
yes,
them Tame Animals, the Tame Impala. I really like that record. I'm actually even surprised it's on my list. I think about it, it's as high as it was, and I reviewed it as high as I did. But because I really, really like Lonerism. That's like one of my favorite albums ever. That's a great record, and it's a really big pivot in a lot of ways from Lonerism. Like all the garage sort of space rock stuff is gone. It's basically all gone.
Mhm.
There's still some like psychedelic stuff, but it's icier. It's more in line with something that you find in the '80s, like and it's more like an addendum to like his weird Phil Collins thing. That's kind of like Phil Collins, but way better and does way more things. Stuff like The Moment, like there are some really good momentum tracks that are just done really well, and the production is spotless. Like all around, it's pretty spotless, and I like the general concept of the album being about losing yourself, becoming a different person, and like that tracks really well. Like the more you go through that album toward the end, where it's just like a brand new person. That's the name of the song.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, good shit. Kevin Parker, who technically is the person that does everything, but still kind of Tame Impala, kind of like a Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails thing, where it's like, oh, I have all these people with me now.
Right.
Wow, my throat is like, fuck you.
The
Apparently.
list is stuck in there.
Yeah. You know, let me get a sip of that crystal water. Give me a second.
Pause for editing.
While you're sipping on that crystal water, think about how you can be sipping on a hot coffee.
From
No.
Dunkin' Donuts.
From
No,
anywhere?
just
talk.
just from anywhere. Coffee.
Coffee.
All right.
Pretty good.
So, Cease, number 6. The most lamentable tragedy by them boys. Fucking.
Nope.
Oh, that's a meme, isn't it? God
Yeah.
damn it.
That's a meme.
I say them boys literally all the time.
You just
Uh,
memed.
Well, I
Never
can't say
confirmed
that.
the meme.
Another thing killed for me. I can't say the word fam anymore because I got killed. Yeah, by Tyson Andronicus. I wasn't really a big fan of Tyson Andronicus, not out of like derision or anything. That I just wasn't, interested until I finally was broken down by this. Just the choir here, like, oh, you should listen to this. Oh, you should listen to this. You should listen to this.
The dynamic duo strikes again.
So I went like, I don't like to just like experience things like in a vacuum unless it's like it's like 8 movies or it's like 8 albums. I'm like it's like 3 albums. So before I even listened to this album, I went back for a while and listened to like the other stuff like the Monitor
Yeah.
and the first record like for weeks before I even listened to the Most Mental Tragedy. I was gonna say the acronym, which makes no sense because I knew the actual title, but yeah. The Most Lamentable Tragedy is just kind of a tremendous album in terms of just the scope of the thing,
Mm-hmm.
just the amount of everything on the record,
Yeah.
the amount of different styles that them boys like flirt around with, from Bowieisms to some Floyd in there, some Clash in your grill, so like there's a lot
The
going on.
Who.
No.
Are you Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm not even gonna.
I
Get
did
out the
not get
mic.
you. I did not get you. So I was like, no. But yeah, I think it's a great record, and I particularly like how different influences are used to exemplify different stages of like the manic cycle, like a manic depressive cycle. I
Mhm.
think that was really clever, and I'm not saying I'm the first to notice that. I think we all notice that eventually, but I think that deserves particular praise because I feel like in the conversations about that album, people just go, "Oh, yeah, it's the album about depression." I'm like, well, also he's using different like influences that appeal to him to
Yeah.
different like still using different things to represent different emotions,
Yeah.
which is sounds easy and sounds kind of basic, but it's actually not. So shout out to Stickles and crew for a great record. That I actually do agree with Danny. That's like I'm thinking about that is probably one of the best rock records of this decade.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
definitely. Anyway, I'm gonna drop the French thing, but 5. 5 is I Love You, Honey Bear. Father John Misty. That was number 3 on my list for a while until other albums came out. But I really like that album a lot.
Me
Mostly
too.
because I don't know, he's just a piece of shit. And
Yeah.
I'm saying he's just he kind of the same thing that I kind of like about the Weeknd, although less like gratuitous. Like the stuff he talks about, how he talks about it, like my favorite song on that album is "The Night We Spent." It's such a long title. Oh my god.
The
I think I
John,
was
whatever.
yeah. I think I
The one
actually have the album.
with his name in it.
Yeah, it's a long, it's a long track. Where is it? The night Josh Tillman came to our apartment.
Yeah.
Like, um, I really like that song. It's so not even really snide because I don't really think he's being snobby. It's just he's just sick of this shit. Like
Yeah.
he's He's I think very much he represents, a lot of people his age,
Yeah.
like that generation. Like I think, and I've noticed this. I think everyone probably. I'm not sure if everyone knows it, but I feel the trends are moving towards the most represented crowd at this point, or the most targeted demographic. I probably think it's like early 30s people now,
Yeah, I think so too,
and I
100%.
don't think it was like that before.
No.
I think they're the target moving with these people, and like you see stuff like Masters of None. It's about
Yes.
Aziz Ansari being a like a 30 something, early 30s dude dealing with you know everyday life, and that just that's everywhere now in a way that I don't think it was.
I think I
Yeah,
agree with you.
that makes
Well,
sense.
yeah. Because you also have like Louis, don't you?
Yeah, I was thinking of Louis.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Louis is just like a different thing, but like yeah, no, I that's how I feel about that, and I think this definitely speaks to the idea of this generation that's sort of like forever adults in a way, and like they had an extended adolescence that like before it was like, oh well, you're 18 now, the kiss shit's done, and you just fucking snap Barney's
They're
neck in
just
half.
like the first kind of
Yeah,
group of
but
millennials
yeah, that
that aren't totally like selfie culture, but are kind of a little bit.
The
yeah,
pre
like they were there for the rise of the internet,
Yeah.
and that brought in a new wave of adolescence and shit like that. So
Yeah.
like the first group of people who were like you know, playing games past 22,
Hmm.
who are like way into Star Wars and don't give a fuck about it in a way that's like a
Yeah.
45-year-old like, oh, I like Star Wars, but like he just has like he had his accounting firm with like a fucking Millennium Falcon just sadly tucked into a desk. Nah, like fucking
Yeah.
people 31 and stuff have like straight up like rebel lines tattoos and on the other side of an Imperial
Yeah.
tattoo.
Man, you should see my workplace.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
and I feel this album, and I don't know how I feel about that kind of stuff. 'Cause it's kind of cool to me. That's kind of interesting. I don't know. I guess because that speaks to me in general. Because sometimes I feel I don't fit into my age group. Not even like I'm too old for this, but like I don't know. I guess there's certain ways I think, and the certain people I hang out with and people I really get along with, it just happens to be that way, and so I just have to understand that's just how my life is.
Sure.
That's just who I am this week.
Sure.
So it's a Fall Out Boy reference. This
I
is a
caught
dark
it.
time.
I
This is
caught it.
very,
I had a
very
Fall
dark.
Out Boy phase, man.
I
I'll
didn't
admit
even,
to it.
I didn't even really have an FOB phase, but some of the songs, man.
I didn't because I respect myself.
I'm glad that
Um,
like that's like the one thing I can talk to Kitty about, like one on one is Fall Out Boy. But
Wow.
yep.
I'm not sure if that sounded sadder in your head.
That's the one thing I can talk to Kitty about.
the only thing.
That's just oh no, that sounds stuck in my head now. But anyway, I think Father John Misty is this weird move to the early 30 something in musical form, and I think it's kind of fascinating. And in a lot of ways, it's sort of a cultural touchstone for that generation that I don't think other people are talking about. I think there is a general buzz around this album. If you look at some of the other lists,
Yeah.
it'll be pretty high. But I really liked it. There is a lot of different musical styles on it that you wouldn't expect. Like there's some straight up weird, like 80s clap, like
Yeah.
proto stuff on it. What's that one song?
He goes
Oh
all
god,
over.
True Affection. It's
Yeah,
weird,
that
sort
song's
of.
That's a really good song.
bizarre.
It's a
Can
good
we-
song. But,
It's a really good song.
I'm
Can
sorry.
I go ahead and take out my knife real quick?
Yeah.
All right. Do that.
So did you listen to Fear Fun?
No.
Okay, all right. Because a couple of friends and I have been getting into this argument as of recent. It's not really an argument; it's just like a differing opinions thing. But uh, Honey Bear, I listened to Fear Fun, and then I listened to Honey Bear whenever it came out. And Honey Bear for me was like a weaker album than that one, but mostly because, and I don't know if this is just me or not. So but did you feel like the production on this album wasn't like that great?
I thought it was pretty good.
Okay, because for me it felt like there was this like Instagram filter over all of the sounds.
I can see what you're saying,
Yeah.
especially with his voice, the way he mixed his voice.
And like Fear Fun isn't like that at all. Like Fear Fun is a very you get what you hear sort of thing. Like it's there. And this album sounds like it's far off. And that thing it annoyed the fuck out of me for some reason.
Yeah, I
I feel
understand.
like I think I can understand it. I think just in general, the character of like Josh Tillman is really. I think I was really magnetized to that character. Not because I loved him, but he was such a villain that
Yeah.
Oh
like
yeah.
that. I actually like some of the instrumental stuff on here. Like I like the last song. I just think the lyrics are probably the biggest standout of the whole album.
Yeah,
So I guess that's what I was
absolutely.
most focused on. I definitely agree though. The production is a second for sure.
Okay.
But songs like "Born in the USA" like really like bone cutting like lyrics, like so cynical. Like, how do you get out of bed in the morning? Like stuff like talking about like being in a monogamous relationship and then waking up one day and saying, "Oh, good, the stranger's still here." Like, fuck, man, jeez,
Yeah.
it's a really good album. Um, and number four, which I probably have even more to say about, "Harmlessness."
Yay.
You know, by them boys with the world. This album similar in a way similar to I Love You Honey Bear. It really does speak to a sort of generational aspiration or imprint, but I think it's the people it speaks to is way broader. Like
Yeah.
at some point where you can like, oh, this is for people who are like 18 to 36.
Yeah.
Like it has really universal themes, but very very specific themes. And there are just that first song. Oh my god, you can't live there forever. Oh man, like it starts with the lo-fi guitar and the vocals, which is great and it's really sort of poignant. But when it starts to really swell and rise into this like wide, I think that's the first time you get a taste of how good the production is and how good the composition is on the record. So when it gives like way to this really big swelling thing with all these strings and like some great drumming and just it's oh man, it gets me every single time. And there are songs like "Mental Health."
Mental health
Hmm.
is
That's
good.
just oh man, that right there it hits me. Like the lyrics like what is it? I think it's better let them know sooner or later. It's like rolling
Yeah.
down a window or something like. Uh, the lyrics in general are so. I think we talked about this on the other podcast when we were reviewing it. The lyrics are really artful, but really almost brazenly plain. Sometimes it's like, oh, that's a really interesting way of putting together words
Yeah.
and
They're
meaning.
they're also very cynical as well.
Yeah,
There are a couple of songs that aren't that cynical. Like I Can Be Afraid of Anything is pretty like, oh, this is nice. But like
Yeah.
Mount Hum, Mental
I,
Health, and We Need More
Wendover.
Souls, Wendover, all of those. Yeah, Wendover. That line, you told me something that was like really sad, and I said that's dumb enough to put
Put
online.
online,
Like
or
there's this.
school is out and up your asshole.
Yeah,
That's really, but yeah, actually, that's the song I want to talk about. We need more skulls, like talking about safety nets, whether it be economic or social, like falling apart. Like it's really it's. I mean, I got to the point where I would listen to that song back when I worked when I started my job. I worked at two locations of the same job, but every time I'd go to work, I would just put that song on for like almost all of October. I just put it on. And I felt at peace with the album, like it understood me.
yeah.
Similar to a movie I just watched, but I won't get into that. Um. So anyway, number four. That's such a just tremendous album. It really like, man, if I was in an emo band and I was making an emo record, I'd be like, fuck. Like I'll just be pissed off at some point because like it's not happening, you know. But anyway, number three, uh, Poison Season by Destroyer. Featuring Dan Bayar or Bayar. I say Bayar just because it's my thing. Of the New Pornographers. This album is really, uh, if you've ever been to New York, ever, the way that it can capture that city's essence in a way that's stylized itself. It's like stylized from the 80s and the 70s, sort of more cinematic pop music. Um, it's just really well done and obtuse in a way, but more forward than something like Kaput, which is like if you even listen to Kaput, like what is going on here? I mean, the album makes sense if you really fucking listen to it, but this album's more forward. The instruments, oh man, like the composition, this guy knows, he knows what he's doing, and whatever session musicians he had, good job. You guys did a great job. I just think it's like an entire body, like a cohesive body of work. It just really takes you on just a really nice journey through New York in a way that's Lou Reed-esque, but less vulgar and less like, yeah, someone's just doing meth and or being
Yeah.
penetrated at the exact same time. Because that's what Lou Reed does sometimes. You're like, oh, I need a shower. I can't listen to this anymore. And then, back to French. Number two. Number two. Surprise! That's not anyone's. Actually, no, it is. In
Yeah, it
Color
is.
by the boy Jamie. Jamie XX. You know, Jamie XX was once probably a bright lad. You know, somewhere in the suburbs or whatever fucking English Hammett he's from. I'm joking. I don't want to sound like that ignorant, but
No shots to Jamie XX.
he made that band with those other dudes who are actually on this album. Um, the XX, and I remember hearing that record way back. So I was just randomly looking at the stuff in my club when I was writing the review for it. I found this random ask in my Hotmail because I don't erase anything really, and it was like from 2010 or 2009 asking if they should listen to the album. I'm like, holy shit, this is a long time ago. But yeah, I mean that first record was pretty cool with the XX, and then Coexist was it's okay. But I felt like after Coexist, if you listen to this record now, it's like this guy probably had two jobs. I think that's also when you're talking about. He had two jobs. One job was to work with the XX, and the other job was to plan his escape. Like he was like Andy Dufresne or something, like something like that. Just planning this massive getaway. And I feel like after some stuff like the remixes of like Gil Scott Heron's work, um, I think In Color is really just such a tremendous electronic album. Like it's it's hard to describe because like I want to say it is easy, but not easy in the sense of like it's cheap. Just in the way that he does so much on a debut studio album that he
Yeah.
gets so much of it right. It's like as
Yeah,
someone who's
for
Here's a
just
sure.
debut. Yep.
yeah, as someone who's struggled to like make their own music, I'm like how can you how can you go it alone? Because like not like it's the first time he's made music, but like switching it up from being in a group dynamic to basically being your own mastermind, and that can be a tall order, especially
Not to,
considering
Right.
and he was also writing for other people as well, because there are a
yeah,
lot of features on this thing. It's
yeah,
That's impressive. I forgot that it was a debut. That blows my fucking mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
absolutely.
and it's like he also made the transition from like indie-ish, weird, minimal shoegaze to just
Yeah.
straight up like post dubstep English like
Is post
future
dubstep a
rock.
term?
Yeah, it is.
It is now.
It
Oh my
apparently
It's
god.
is.
Oh wow.
it's Glass House.
Like Glass House, literally.
Throwback.
Fucking yeah. Apparently, it is like that. Him and like James Blake and a few other people are
Oh yeah.
technically post dubstep, but like it's. I mean, it's UK garage, really, for looking at it that way. And the samples are so good,
Yeah.
and just the elements he's working with. He's kind of like, all right. I'll put it to you this way. You know, that other like cyberpunk movie that things in that's not shit. That's not Johnny Mnemonic.
Blade
Um,
Runner.
no, fucking Keanu Reeves. Yeah, The Matrix.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
That one part where he
Okay.
just straight up just blocking like attacks and he's not looking. That's what
Yeah.
this
Oh
album
yeah.
feels like. Like he's just putting things together and it's like, what? That shouldn't
Oh.
work. And you're like, it'll work. It'll work.
If you need any more evidence, looking at the feature list and seeing Young Thug,
Yeah, I'm
just
like,
knowing that song's actually really fantastic, that should let you know
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
yeah, Young Thug and Pop Can on that song, and I'm like, huh, what? Young Thug? How does this work? What's going on? But ultimately, man, that was a great record, man.
Yeah.
It's if like many a day or many a night did I just go like, oh, I'm driving home, pick up the phone, put on a whole album, loop it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
That
I
was just
vibe.
my home.
I feel you.
Loud
And
Places.
oh my god, Loud
Love
Places is one of my favorite
places.
songs of the year.
I
If not,
literally
Oh
listen to
yeah.
that song like probably every day.
it's really fantastic. And my number one album is something that, Danny alluded to when they said, hey, this might be number one on someone else's list. And that is the boy Kendrick with the Butterflies. Now, I wrote extensively about this album. I've listened to this album ad nauseum. I've pulled it apart in so many ways. But I honestly think at the end of the day, when I was like looking at my list and I was just listening to all the albums again, I think this album is almost as important, if not for sure, is on the same wavelength as What's Going On by Marvin Gaye, in terms of not only like its cultural impact and how relevant it is to culture as like a capsule of what it is,
Mm-hmm.
as it is to saying this is where black music is. I
Yeah.
think To Pimp a Butterfly is like such a tremendous accomplishment on so many levels. I think
Yep.
lyrically, like there are songs. It's like he has 3 or 4 concepts going at once,
Yeah.
and concepts and like a subfolder of other concepts and a subfolder of another concept going on, like stuff like institutionalized, where
Oh.
it's about being institutionalized, by like post-war economics, and then being institutionalized by the hood when you're out of the hood, and
Yep.
bringing the hood into like this new space that's basically post-hood for all these other like for a lack of a better term, for all these other rappers that are like seeking refuge and like
Yeah.
oh we got out, but they all kind of inhabit the same space of like I got out, but I fucking know that life, and having a feeling like that life is gonna
Mm-hmm.
catch up to you,
Right.
like or someone else's life at any given time could catch up, and you might be in the wrong place, and it's just like well it's like I was in the hood, but I'm not in the hood anymore. It's conceptually really really poignant.
Yep.
Also, can I just say, man, California fucking man. California make like fucking black pop culture. California making everyone look bad. Like, okay, I guess I'll just talk about what I was watching. I watched Dope today,
Yeah. I did
and
see that.
I fucking love Dope. Oh
Is
my
it good?
god, it speaks to me. It gets me. As a
I'll have to
black
watch
nerd,
it.
Who's
it
in that
gets me.
movie?
Shamira Moore, ASAP Rocky, Vince
Um,
Yeah, I
Staples
think I
for a
saw
bit,
script for this a
the
Rick
while
Bay
ago.
is
Fox,
in it. The Bay.
but yeah, Zoe Kravitz.
Zoe. Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah. So they're just killing it. Also, Vince Staples record came out this year. Man, what a record. Also, honorable mention to that, but I get a feeling we'll talk about
Hmm.
that soon. But yeah, the beats are just tremendous. Like mixes of like jazz and like experimental jazz, spoken word, bebopping
You
elements. Like
you've got Kamasi Washington and Flying Lotus on this album. That should tell you enough
yeah,
about the
and
producer.
Thundercat.
And
Just this
Yeah.
Thundercat. Yeah.
All right, I'll put it this way: fucking Kendrick just basically assembled like the Lucas arts of like the Lucas film of like black music, where it's
Yeah.
just like Lawrence Kasdan and like Irving and shit, but they're all just musicians.
George Clinton.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he just this
Fuck.
cabal of power. Like I know they make jokes like, is it the W? Where is that again? Matt, you know where that is, right? The W, that hotel.
Oh yeah, that's right down the street from me.
Yeah,
Hmm.
people say at any given time in E3, if you were to attack that building and blow it up, you'd send gaming back like 20 years. Basically, while these dudes were in the
Yeah.
session, if you attacked this studio, you would send so many different types of contemporary music back by 10 years.
Yeah.
That's so much power was going on in this record, and just the kind of things he was able to bring up. Um, really, a really
Complex.
really important thing. I'm sorry, what are you gonna say, Maddie? I was
No,
just struggling with the
go
words.
for it.
Yeah,
I'll say
but
it later.
okay, a really important thing that actually Vince Staples does as well, but I don't think as well, but that's to be expected.
Mhm.
Um, Kendrick does a good thing where he's not trying to be the mouthpiece of a generation. Doing hip hop like that it doesn't work anymore. Because when you do hip hop like that, it's totally fine if you want to do that, but you just open yourself up to so much criticism. People are like, oh, if you're talking about all these like black people, what about these black people? Like if you're trying to talk about if you're trying to talk for people, it doesn't work. If you're
Yeah.
trying to talk to people, that's when it works. Like stuff like Black of the Berry, man, that fucking song rough.
Yeah.
Like that song is
Yes.
and there are
Do
things
you
that I don't even agree in the song. I'm like, oh well fuck Kendrick, what the fuck? But I really respect that this is his path.
Yeah.
That's
That's what he's saying.
yeah, and I really, really
He's being
appreciate it.
honest with himself.
Hmm.
I just think like Kendrick is just he's just on another level to me. Like I just if we're looking at me, cause I will say like general like known rap, because just in general, like you don't, there are quantities you don't know about ultimately in every genre. So
Yeah.
I'll say that this, in terms of known rap, like I can't even see anyone on his like thing.
Yeah.
Like I like Drake a lot, but Drake is firmly like mega blocks to his Lego
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not even Drake's fault. It's just
It's not.
fucking Kendrick is just on another level, and
Just on the next level of
I,
awareness.
I don't know how long it is before he implodes. I'm actually a little worried about that because like he's revealing more of the issues that we all know he has,
Yeah.
and Nolan, man, a great prophet used to say, although that prophet long died, no one man should have all that power. You know, you shouldn't. You can't be this good. It can't last. It just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for now, man,
Let's enjoy.
it's like cutting fresh construction paper and getting the perfect bite of a pizza, and some of like you want to know for milkshakes there. I'm like, yeah,
Do you think that Kendrick can get the triple hit?
yes.
Yeah. Well, he
Yeah.
already has.
Well,
Section 80 is amazing.
Section 80 is
but like
okay.
big.
Section
Like,
80 is
I like Section 80 a
fantastic.
lot, but I know
Section-
I know what you mean. I know what you mean
Yeah.
though. Like
Yeah.
It's
like
not
Danny, I
Good
know
Kid, Mad City. It's not.
it's not.
Why?
It has
Yeah, it's not.
some hard hitters, you
Spiteful
guys.
Chance a great
Rigor
it does.
song.
There's no
Mortis,
argument.
Fuck
Rigor Mortis is
Ethnicity
Keisha
is a great
song,
song.
ADHD
Yeah,
is great.
yeah. I mean,
ADHD.
It's a good album,
yeah.
but it's not. You know.
I would say Section 80 is on like the same level as something like Nothing Was the Same, or even like
Okay.
something like that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's.
Fair
I
enough.
think he's elevated his game to another level. And I'll just end it with this. Like, I think whether people like it or not, Kendrick has pushed hip hop into a new era. Whether they want it or not, that's
Yep.
just how it is.
Yeah.
And the Grammys are shit. But like,
Let's not
and
even. Let's not
and I
even.
don't even. I don't know. I'm not even putting it up there as like as a metric for this is how good someone is, because like you look at the rock like section of Grammys and it's like, did someone just throw up on like a laptop and then the force just produced a list? But
Wasn't Grimes in the rock section?
I don't think so.
if she was, she should win.
Yeah.
I could have sworn there was some pop artist who was in the rock section.
I
and
think
just
so.
like,
Yeah, there was something. Like that.
Probably.
I think wasn't Slipknot or not Slipknot.
Yeah, Slipknot was in there.
Yeah,
Oh my god, embarrassing.
but yeah, the fact that this guy is leading the nominations, and the Grammys are scared of controversy. They are scared of a
Yeah.
controversial
Yeah,
artist.
the
They're
Grammys have
very-
always been shit. Like,
Yeah.
they've never been good. It's not even like a
Yeah.
discussion worth having at this
But I
point.
think the influence of Kendrick, like I just think the fact that not even they, conservative make big money, could deny it
Yeah,
is important to notice.
fair enough.
Go.
I agree with you, but I also think that they did see the backlash that happened whenever.
When
I know.
Good Kid, Mad
Well,
City lost to
Good Kid.
fucking Macklemore.
Here's
Yeah.
my thing though.
Let's not. Let's keep it on. Let's keep on
There's a-
track.
It's too late.
Keep
It's
on
too late
track.
now.
All
I
right.
have one thing to say about that. I think the Grammys still could have easily ignored thing which they've done before. Like, I have mixed feelings on Kanye right now, but let's put into the perspective that Dark Twisted Fantasy didn't even get nominated for Album of the Year. It barely got nominated for Hip Hop Album of the Year,
Yeah.
and it didn't win.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway,
Like, how did that
And Dark-
happen?
we can literally say that Dark Twisted is like the reason that a lot of pop sounds like it does, like right
Yeah.
now. Like,
a lot of Kanye is that
Yeah.
basically.
So that's my thing. That's the thing I say about that. The Grammys don't give a fuck ultimately, as long as the ratings are good and they can fucking just anoint Taylor Swift in her mediocre oils, then they don't give a fuck. But yeah,
All
that's my
right.
10. Kendrick's a pretty G. He's pretty cool. I like
Mhm.
him.
All right, RJ, you or me?
All right, I'll pick it up.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
All right, my honorable mentions. My first honorable mention, I'm just gonna throw out there the album "You're Better Than This" by Pyle. It's just it wasn't too high on my list, but it was in top 20. But it's really solid, noisy, post-hardcore album. Didn't get too much attention. Great album. Anyways, the Carly Rae Jepsen album "Emotion."
Wow.
One of the
Everyone's going crazy about that.
Best-
I have not listened.
top albums of the year. Second,
Wow.
probably second best pop album of the year.
Damn.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna bring a knife out here. I don't get it. I've
That's
tried. And
Yeah,
that's
I got a
fine.
knife with you, Shu.
But like and you know what's okay? You want to know the real secret is? I don't even hate Carly Rae Jepsen. I actually kind of like Carly Rae Jepsen. I have no problem
She's
with her.
Canadian, so you have to have some.
Oh
You
no, that's
know.
not true. Because that fucking asshole Robin thing. That ain't gonna fuck himself.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
But like, yeah, I heard Emotion. I heard the whole thing front to back like 4 times. I'm like, what?
I don't know.
Interesting.
There's hot tracks all over there.
There's
There's some
one
hot-
track and it's produced multiple times. That's what I felt about that record. But that's it.
Anyway,
I'm done.
God.
on to the rest of the honorable mentions. The Great Pretenders by Mini Mansions.
yes.
Really excellent.
I don't want to
Synth,
shout someone out, so I just want
yeah.
to say one thing.
Sure.
Because I just remember that someone on Tumblr told me if I didn't mention it, they'd be upset. So good thing you mentioned it, Dave. That you mentioned that album. That's a really good album. Continue.
Really excellent album. Uh, fucking Brian Wilson is on that album.
Yes.
It's a great
So
song.
happy.
One of the best songs on the album. Great
Any
stuff.
Emotions is pretty good.
Yeah.
Any Emotions is pretty good.
The interlude, or it's just it's just Brian Wilson and thing just singing.
Oh yeah.
It's real good.
Now I've got that stuck in my head, like I'm humming it right now. Thanks, Art.
And
Shit.
2 more honorable mentions. We have The Epic by Kamasi Washington.
Yes. How did I forget about the Epic?
The
Good.
entirely exhausting, nearly
3
3-hour
hours.
jazz album.
You think he's gonna do the whole thing at Coachella?
No,
I don't know if they'd allow him to do that.
I don't think you should be made to do that. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, that's I don't know, but really, it's massive. It's as big as you can get. And, you know, it's one of the probably the biggest jazz albums that come out. And I don't know. It's not like I pay attention to jazz, but especially for fucking just a big one that's gotten massive release, and especially because this dude also worked on To Pimp a Butterfly.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
time. Where do
So
you
that
get the
also comes with it. And then this dude comes out with his own massive 3-hour great album. You know, it's a lot. And then we have In Color by Jamie XX, which, you know, just barely missed the top 10 at number 11. But really great, amazingly for a debut, put together electronic album. Hot tracks all over that too. Loud Places, one of the best songs of the year.
Yep.
And on to the 10, the big 10.
The Big 10,
First we
baby.
have Grimes' Art Angels, one of the albums that we did review. Really great album, probably the best pop album of the year.
Agreed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
You know, Grimes' really big, huge album. Well, I don't know. Was her other album like really huge?
Vision
Not
was pretty.
Noticeable.
It wasn't
but,
Art
like,
Angels big.
The
Okay,
acclaim
well,
that
yeah.
Art Angels is getting is
Her breakout. This is, I guess,
For
her
sure.
breakout. Big deal.
I'd think so, yeah.
Has some of the best pop songs on here, of course. Really great album.
Mame.
Loved it. Kill Me Mame.
Oh,
The best pop song of the
so
year.
good. Top 5 tracks 2015.
Yeah,
Top
absolutely.
5.
Yeah,
I really
definitely
like
top
the
5.
song Art Angels.
Art Angels, that song's really
That's
good
a
too.
cool
I
song.
don't that song doesn't get too much talk, mostly because it comes right after Kill Me Mame, probably.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
that.
But number 9 we have Sauna by Mount Eerie. I love my Mr. Phil Elverum. He's a beautiful man. He does beautiful music. Beautiful music for when it's cold. Some very comfy music. A lot of like drone weird folk on this album. But it's beautifully comfy and distorted, like most of Phil's music. Not my favorite album by him, but really great nonetheless. Moving on, Depression Cherry by Beach House.
Boom.
Fucking PPP. One
Damn
of the
right.
top 5 tracks of the year. That song, that's a song that I would give 10 out of 10. That's a great song.
Real good song.
Sparks is a good track.
I Also, while we're talking about Beach House, that second album that they put out this year wasn't that good.
Thank Your Lucky Stars was not that good.
Better
It
than
was-
the first album.
I haven't listened to any of the other.
Better than
albums.
Depressed Cherry.
It's
No,
not better
okay.
than Professor
Okay.
Oh my
Jerry.
God.
Okay, here we go.
I know what I'm saying.
Now I'm bringing out all my knives right
Yeah,
now.
no way.
Oh man, my knives are fucking ready. I don't give a fuck. I've been waiting.
Chewy,
No, there's
It's okay to be wrong.
there's not a song on that album that can touch Sparks or PPP, except maybe the
No.
first song.
That can't even like touch Wildflower. And who the fuck cares about Wildflower? Like, I don't care about Wildflower.
I don't
Like-
even remember.
I don't even remember
I
Wildflower.
barely remember any of the albums. So
Yeah.
The next spot on my list it's a weird pick. It's a weird pick for me considering of how I feel about this album because I'm very conflicted about it, but it's still a really great album. When I try to not think about the reasons that I don't like it.
Wow.
We have
Interesting.
New Bermuda by Death Heaven.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
Knife's
Let's-
out.
That album sucks.
The knife is out there ready. New Bermuda sucks.
Let's-
You know,
Stereo Gum loves that album.
I respect everyone's opinions. Ultimately, opinions are
Mhm.
opinions, but you know what album sucks. That's
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
So simple.
Here it is. Here we go.
I agree with Chewy.
Coming up to the build-up of this album, you know, I was really hyped. And
I know.
because I was like, Sunbather, like looking back to 2013, that was my second favorite album of that year. But if I had to choose now, that would be my first favorite album of that year.
I don't
Probably.
really like metal that much. Like the most metal I really get to is sometimes the old Sabbath and like Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
But man, Sunbather is a fucking good album.
Sunbather.
Sunbathing
And
is really
the thing is, like, I was like, man, this is RJ's. Cause I was actually secretly waiting for him to announce it because I heard, like, yeah, it's gonna, man, this is gonna be like RJ's album, and I'm so happy that he's gonna get a record, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like if somehow they decided they're gonna remaster Smile again or
Yeah.
something, like, or actually, well, then again, MVP had a record in 2013, so I guess that's as good as it gets. Ultimately, but yeah, and that came out, and I'm like.
Yeah, I mean, I was fully in
Yeah.
my head. Death Heaven can do no wrong. This will be
Oh no.
Sunbather, one of my fifth favorite album of all time.
Jesus.
Like,
and then New
Metal Gear
Bermuda.
Solid 5 was a disappointment.
Oh yeah,
And I'm not sure what was a bigger disappointment, this or Metal Gear Solid 5. Like,
MGS 5 is a fun game.
this is the soundtrack to
It
that.
is fun. I've been playing it like all
MGS
week.
5 is like one of the
It's-
fun games of the year.
But anyway.
What
I
about-
understand
the
why you're disappointed
this
by it,
pod,
but it's
so do
still
I.
fun.
I understand too.
I just wanted to say that I remember, like, leading up to New Bermuda, RJ and I were, like, constantly looking to see if something would happen involving
Yeah.
it. And it was, like, daily. Like, I'd wake up and I'd see, is it...
Wake up.
Nope, never mind. And then, like, I remember we both explicitly said, we do not want Sunbather Part 2.
Yeah, we don't want that. That's not what
So-
we
On
You-
Death Heaven for not giving us Sunbather Part
Yeah.
2 and instead giving us a plate full of shit.
Well, okay. Let's not go that far.
Cold.
Okay, all right. Now I'll actually get into the meat of it. I'll get into the meat of it. The reason why it's on this high on my list, regardless of these feelings, is that when I put that aside and I listen to it for what it is, I still really enjoy a lot of things on this album, regardless for the fact that they don't know how to end a song.
Nope.
Um,
Nope.
but
Oh my god.
but regardless of the fact they don't know how to end a song, there's still a lot of really great moments on this album. And for the short list of songs that are on there, they're all pretty great songs. Well, not all of them, but anyways, there's 2 or 3 on here that are pretty great and that make it worthwhile being on this list.
Man.
Better than Art Angels.
That's the weakest.
It's just my bias. It's my weird bias. It's my
okay.
weird.
It's okay.
Because, like, okay.
Tattoo on his stomach.
Like, I've got sun bat hair on my back. Anyways, there's such a weird split between from 7 to 6. But anyways, 6.
Yeah, there
to
is.
Tempo Butterfly. Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, gosh.
There's so much that's been said about this album since it came out that, nothing that I'm gonna say is gonna truly, nothing different. Like it's an important album. It's it's a it's a fucking great album. It's a landmark album. It's gonna be an album where it's gonna go, okay, what are things gonna look like after this album comes out?
Yeah, like
Because
Master.
it's a culture. Not only is it a culturally important album, but it's also, as an album, a musically important album that's going to affect the hip hop genre for the better, hopefully,
Yep.
probably. Because I don't see how any way it could negatively affect hip hop at all.
No more
But
chicken sandwiches. No more.
no more chicken sandwiches.
I'll pay for the damages.
Man,
The best lyrics of the year. Best rhyme. Maybe of the
that's
last 5 years.
Oh my god. That's like
I'd go farther than that.
that's like the hip hop equivalent of "It Gets Everywhere." Like,
Oh
oh man.
Oh man,
no.
fantastic album.
New
On a top.
Bermuda to simplify.
Listen, I know.
Oh, you're a delight.
I'm I'm here to supply the controversy.
I
Oh
mean,
Um,
man.
it's still controversy on us. That one just sucks. So we're
this
just
isn't
gonna.
even a knife fight. This is
I don't.
We're just pelting you.
I can't even know because it's like I can't even argue with it. I can't argue with it.
It's
It's
alright.
just anyways, number 5, an album that I wanted to talk about this year on the podcast, but we never got to. Deer Hunter's Fading Frontier.
Oh wow, that plays high for you.
Yeah, this is Deer Hunter's this is probably their chillest album yet, because they had their like shoegazy dream pop stuff, but I also haven't listened to all of their albums. But anyways, out of the ones I've listened to, this is the most laid back. It's just a really great It's one of the best summer albums, I'd say, to come out this year, even though it didn't come out in the
Yeah, I
summer.
think it came out like October or something.
It came out in October, but the summer's coming, 6 months. It'll be there.
I think "Living My Life." That's like one of my favorite songs of the year. That's such a like uh,
It's Living My
transcendent.
Life had to grow on me, but it's still not. I don't know. It's still not one of my favorites because I don't know. Because Breaker is really great, and Ad Astra. I think Ad Astra reminds me sort of like Panda Bear in a way.
Is that the one
Uh,
with like the weird like guitar brushstrokes? Like, it's like
no, it's the one that's like really all. It's really. I was gonna say synthy, but that doesn't make any sense. Like it's sort of like Grim Reaper in a way, I guess. It's the track that's most similar to Grim Reaper if you had to pick them out.
oh. Can I just mention one thing?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Yeah, Grim Reaper came out this year.
It did.
But it's not on anyone's list. Uh,
It's it's at 20. It's at 20, but
it wouldn't
it's
be.
it's it's a good album. It was a
Yeah,
great album. It was a
parts
great
of it
album, but it
are
was too long. Too
parts of it
long.
are good. Parts of it are just kind of not.
Yeah, it's an album that could do some benefit from some some clippers. Um,
Some
number
Crips.
4.
Solid.
Number 4. Also, I like how like a lot of the top 10 like are like the albums covered in like the very first podcast.
I know.
But anyways,
No, mine is the same way.
March was a
yeah,
good year.
um,
March was a good year. I'm an
that what
idiot.
March
March
was a good year.
it whipped by so fast.
It's
Anyways,
like 3 albums in the same week.
yeah,
So overwhelming. So good.
number 4 for me is Harmlessness. Um,
Yes.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful emo album. Let's see, what was I gonna say? What was I saying? Oh yeah, Danny said earlier how it's an album that doesn't like want you, leaving more, which I guess, which was an interesting because it's something I've never thought about, especially for this album, because it's for an emo album, it's long. It's about
Yeah.
56
Yeah, it is
minutes.
pretty long. Yeah.
It's a long album, but it absolutely doesn't overstay its welcome in any way.
Yeah.
Um, it's an album that justifies its length very strongly.
Yes.
And doesn't step over it or step below it or anything like that. It's a beautiful emo album, one of the best emo albums to come out this decade. I don't know. I can't make a list of those, but hell, I'm not gonna argue it. Whatever.
I'll put it this way: when we're done this, when I'm going to sleep, I'm probably going to listen to that
Yep.
album, which is almost every other night. As to
It's a good emo album for people who aren't necessarily into emo.
yeah,
I would say that.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I hate to say the word entry level because that
Mhm.
sounds rude,
It's
but
good gateway emo.
yeah, gateway emo. There
I
you
think
go.
one of the
Great
reasons why it's because it has so many other elements that aren't
Yeah, absolutely.
emo-ish. Like so many elements that are. We have like post-rock elements. It has
Yeah.
straight up just orchestral elements.
Mhm.
And it's paced in an interesting way. Sometimes it's just straight up alternative rock instead of just
Mhm.
Right.
like emo.
It
And,
feels like it has a lot more thought than a lot of emo albums do.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's got all of the emotion from and more from your average emo album, but it also has a lot more thought and a lot more thought into how it works as an album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
It looks beyond the genre.
absolutely.
Indeed.
Yeah. Moving on to an album that was number one for me for a while, for very many months.
Damn, kicked off.
Number 3, The Powers That Be by
Hey.
the
Oh, there it
Jackals.
is. No one talks about that record.
I I will probably the release of Jenny Death is probably going to be one of my most memorable moments in listening to music. The long-awaited second half of The Powers That Be dropped one day, and it was just a really good experience. Like I don't know, arguably I probably wasn't happier with an album releasing than I was with that. That was probably like the peak.
Damn.
I don't know. It was a really excellent, abrasive hip hop, rock record, whatever, new metal, whatever. Let's see.
Would it be new metal?
No, it's not new
No,
metal. I'm sorry.
God.
That was
Yeah,
more of a
like,
joke. That was a more
is
of a
that
joke throwing out there. That was more of a joke. Also, speaking of live performances, like mentioned earlier, Sufjan, how that's overwhelming.
Yeah. No,
I,
death
I saw
grips.
I saw them earlier, this year. That's like physically
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Oh,
That was
absolutely.
like drenched in sweat, but it was an amazing experience. Like as much of a great experience that this album as a whole is. The first part,
Mhm.
not as much, but Jenny Death kind of picks up the slack for that.
I agree. That is a
Uh,
good concert experience. I remember people walking out of the mosh pit looking like they just showered,
oh yeah, it was.
just like
I
sopping wet.
and it's mosh pits like have like a gravitational force to them.
Right.
Because in that show, I mean, like I started like kind of like at the edge. I didn't know I was at the edge of it, but when the show started, I found out, and I ended
Right.
up like at the barrier at one point. But anyways,
I
great album. Was number one for a while, but
feel you.
now number
Hello,
2.
Hi, Dan.
Hello,
I'm
Dan.
back.
Welcome. We just
Back in
finished
time for
talking
number
about the
2.
powers that be.
Um, can I talk about the powers that be
Yeah,
real
go
quick?
for it. Go for it.
So I just want to say that that's another honorable mention. Preferred side one more than side two. But boy, RJ, I heard you talking. For those of you who don't know, listeners, we were having some technical difficulties. But anyways, RJ, I heard you talking about Jenny Death being one of the most memorable, like the build
Yeah.
up to it, the hype cycle.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, I think I might have enjoyed that more than Jenny Death on its own.
Damn.
Harsh. Although I can
Ooh.
understand that, given some other
Yeah.
No,
things.
don't
Yeah,
get me
no, it
wrong. I
was overwhelming. Like
Yeah, it
people
was.
were going
But Jenny Death again was such a wonderful time to be alive.
great meme.
Yeah.
Good memeing, guys.
Series, everything about it. Inanimate Sensation dropping on like New Year's
Oh, that
Eve.
was.
That was just
Oh
so
It
good.
dropped.
yeah,
That was.
there's a hysteria about that album. I'm like, oh my god, these people have lost their minds.
Inanimate Sensation is still one of the best songs of the year.
I love that song too. Piss
That's such a
Piss.
great song. And it's an amazing.
I think On GP is better, but Inanimate's great.
Inanimate Sensation is one of the best album openers of the year.
That song live is so fun too.
Yes,
Jesus
absolutely.
Christ.
Definitely.
Anyways, number 2, Mr. Sufjan Stevens, Carrie and Lowell, Time to Get Sad, Time to Get Comfy, Time to Cry. That's how this album was my gateway into Mr. Sufjan. I was like, if I listen to this album and I like it, I'll give in and I'll listen to Illinois and the rest of them. And here it is at number 2 on my top 10 of the year list. And really, it's just this is definitely going to be another album that's like one of the best of the decade so far. If anything, top 5.
There's a couple. I don't know.
Maybe top 10. No,
There's a couple
top 10.
Sufjan albums that came out this decade. I mean, just barely came out this decade that I'm like, damn. Nice job.
Karen Lowell, absolutely beautiful, intimate album. Seems like his not his most stripped back. It's like more like his second most stripped back, probably.
No, I think it would. Well,
I'd argue this is most, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Seven Swans has more, I think, but in
It
a
has
different way.
Transfiguration is like a band.
Yeah. And
yeah.
Seven
Okay, you're
Swans,
right.
the song itself.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you guys are right. Okay, this is his most stripped back album. At least, not. I mean, emotionally, I'd say
That was a
definitely.
tiny knife fight.
Yeah. Beautiful album, touching album, the most emotional album of the year, I would say.
I'm not sure about that.
I
But-
mean, it is on a different. There's this whole year was so emotional, but in such different ways.
Yeah. Little gather round of applause for Mr. Soufman. Good job, buddy. Hope you have a good day. And on to
He certainly deserves one.
number 1.
At least one.
Number 1.
The Titus Andronicus Band's album from 2015, The Most Lamentable Tragedy. Another album that was big on the hype train for me. Because I've been waiting for this album since the end of 2013, maybe?
Damn.
Whenever they announced that they were making a 90-minute rock opera, and they actually delivered a 90-minute rock opera, that was absolutely fantastic. Probably, I don't know, it's kind of a stretch. Do you think it's a stretch to call this a punk record?
It is a punk record.
Post-punk.
It's definitely a punk record.
I mean, London Calling is a punk record.
Yeah, okay, true. Okay. This is the best punk record released thus far from 2015 to now, or 2010 to now, in terms of this decade. This is the best punk album that's released, and it's certainly one of the most grandiose, if I'm using that word correctly, punk records to be released for a while. It delivers, a really vague but also not really vague storyline. But it's vague enough to where you can be immersed in it, but also have it to be relatable in certain aspects. Great record. Not because it's like the thing that it's so really different from their other records in terms of production, in terms of the mix of genres, because there are even bits of post-rock and some of these songs, especially Funny Feeling, most especially. But it also mixes in, you've got your punk, which is the better part of the album. But I don't know, it just mixes a lot of genres, and it mixes a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions in such a big flurry rush of an album that doesn't stop. It's because there's no real slowdown periods in this album.
No. You get breathing time, but that's about as far as you get.
You get breathing time.
There's Glory to Ra or Sun Salutation.
Right.
Yeah, you get your breathers and your intermission,
Yeah,
your
I
literal
call
intermission.
because as soon as you're done with like those minute and 30 seconds of breathing, the album immediately grabs you and it's like, come on, get up, let's go, let's
Yep,
go,
it's
let's
all
go.
right.
Like there's
Yeah.
not like slow.
Anyways, one of my favorite albums to come out for a while. Love it. Hope they continue. I can imagine they will. But even if they didn't, this would be a great last album. It's one of those type of albums.
Yeah.
Amazing album. I would recommend it to anyone. And that's my number one.
Hooray. Good list.
Ready?
Now it's me. I have one well, because I feel like we covered a lot of my honorable mentions, so I won't even get into it. But I have one kind of weird one, because I know this album didn't review very well, and I know people didn't really like it, but I was kind of into it. Was the new December's album that came out in like January? What is it called? It's called
I've
something
never
like
listened to it.
"The World Is a Most Beautiful Place" or something like that.
And I'm no longer afraid to Decemberist.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Anyways, it's not that good, but there are a couple songs on it that I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Wasn't
Just
Sufjan like performing with them or something?
the Decemberists? No.
Yeah.
All right,
You're thinking of the National, probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
The National are great,
what are they
except
gonna?
fucking Matt Berninger, who made a new band called Elvi.
Oh,
Their
I
new
don't know,
record
Escape
was
to the
not
Moon or
good.
whatever. Getting to the moon. No, I don't want to. Earth is all right. Stay here.
Yeah, no, the Elvi record was not very good.
It's not dense,
No,
flexible. His voice, I don't think.
no, and I like the National a lot, but yeah, no. Anyway, my top 10.
Yep.
Number 10 is Courtney Barnett. Sometimes I sit and think,
Oh,
and sometimes I just sit.
it's nice to see that on someone's list.
I like it. I like her. She's quippy, she's dry, she's my kind of weird, kind of folk lady.
Mm.
Her
She folk?
lyrics.
Is she
Her
like
lyrics are fun. Like, the
weird?
music itself is not very, breakthrough in any particular way.
Yeah.
Which
But
is fine, I think.
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think so too. I just like her personality a lot. She has a lot of it in her songs, and it's very, she seems like a chick that I just want to pow around with
I thought you were gonna say punch. I'm like, wow.
and go
Oh,
eat some
Jesus
ramen
Christ.
and go thrift shopping and talk about random shit.
Man,
I
she
like
sounds
her.
hella LA. Well, I won't lie to you.
Well, she's from Australia, so, but I mean,
Doesn't she just eat like spiders or whatever then? Is that what they do
The
there?
toilet water goes backwards there.
I like how you said that. It's like a fucking a wandering tourist is like lost, and they're about to go down a derelict road, and it's like the water goes backwards there, turn back, like in the
anyway,
morning or something.
she's good. That album is fun. Her lyrics are really just,
Interesting.
yeah, she's
A fun
clever,
album.
and I really like it. I like
Nobody
it.
cares if you don't go to the party.
Yeah, and she's good. I like it. I like her. It's a long album, uh, but it's good. So enjoy that. Number nine. Number nine.
If
Number nine is The
nice.
Most Lamentable Tragedy by Them
Whoa.
Boys, as
Them
Chewy would
boys.
say.
We yes.
This album really brought me back because in high school I was fucking obsessed with rock operas, that kind of thing. I loved The Who. There's so much Who in this. I loved punk music. There's so much punk music in this. It's all good. Talked about this record a lot when we reviewed it, so I don't really
Good. It
have
was a
anything
long
more to say
episode.
about it other
We
than
talked about
it's
it. I
real
was gonna
good.
say we talked about it a lot here. So,
Yeah, we
wow.
did as well.
It,
It's on
it's good.
everybody's list.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's a good album. Listen to
I'd
it
agree.
if you haven't.
Yes.
Good job, Stickles Man and company.
Pickles, man.
Number 8 is,
We
if you're reading this, It's Too Late by Sir Drake of Toronto. the six, as it were. I've never been on the Drake train ever until this year.
That sounds like a horrible place to be.
I was not on the Drake train. I wasn't. He did not think, I liked the production on his album, but every time I heard him, I was just like, wow, you know what album is good? Is 808s and Heartbreak. So I'm just gonna go listen to that now. Sorry, Drake. Bye. That was my attitude toward
Yeah,
Drake
that's
for a long
harsh.
time.
Fair enough.
But
All to
but I listened to this mixtape and I was like, you know what? This is pretty good. There's some interesting stuff happening here. I kind of interest, and his lyrics are a little more, for grown-ups now.
I got
Drake for
bitches asking me
grown-ups.
about the code for the Wi-Fi so they can talk about their timelines and show me pictures of their friends just to tell me they ain't really friends.
But look, it's good.
Grown-ups.
It's
I,
catchy.
I like that one.
I like it. I really liked Hotline Bling too. What a good single for
That's
pop
really
music.
good.
That's like almost untouchable single at some point.
Very good. Good job, Mr. Drake. I didn't like the Future thing, except
Neither
Jumpman is
did
a
I.
good
But then
song.
again, I don't like Future at all. I kind of hate that guy.
I
Yeah.
don't.
So
I don't have any feelings about the future, man.
the
I
Future.
like Future.
Tell
I
me what
just
the
say. I
Future.
just
I do
say it's
not care
present.
for
I just say it's
Future.
present.
He has a
Dirty
nice
Sprite 2 was
smile.
good.
That's true.
So good job,
DS2 was
Future.
good.
Oh yeah, that came out this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Dark
No,
Souls
but
2.
yeah, if you're reading this, it's too late. Cool mixtape. I'm into it. Good job, Drake. Keep your beard game up.
It's a good beard.
It is a good beard.
Good beard.
Beards and sweaters. That's the Drake
Beards and turtlenecks.
aesthetic. That is
EOTY.
good.
I have a nice one.
Anyway, number 7 is Summertime '06, which didn't get enough
Yeah,
love from y'all.
I
Yeah.
liked it a lot. Honorable
Taking out
mention.
my knife, it got
It's
as
look,
much love
look,
as it
look, look,
needed
look.
to for me.
Vince Staples is like my age,
Yeah.
okay? And I
Yeah.
think about that, and I think about when Kendrick made Good Kid, Mad City, which is a way better record with similar themes.
Yeah.
Kendrick was older, A, and he's just more I don't want to say self-aware, but
Well,
self-aware.
Kendrick is.
Wait,
Yeah.
how
Or,
old is Kendrick?
I mean, Kendrick was doing it for longer. I mean, Kendrick's been
Yeah,
making mixtapes since
exactly.
he was in high
So,
school.
it's hard to people are too hard on Mr. Staples.
I
He's just
I
trying his
think
best.
age is a bit of a cop out.
um, I don't think so.
Tyler the Creator made Cherry Bomb at your age.
And
What on earth does that even mean?
that
What?
no,
Just saying.
Tyler the Creator made his first record at my age.
Oh,
No, he was 19 when he made Bastard.
Yeah, that's pretty much my age. I'm going like plus or minus like 2 years
Oh, okay.
when I refer to my age.
back in my age.
So,
Okay, fine then.
anyway, I like Summertime '06. I thought it was catchy. I thought it was cool. I thought it was his own kind of story being told. And it is showing, like, Kendrick's influence directly on hip hop music. And I think it's good that that's the way that it's going, is people telling these more, personal, less kind of blanket statement albums that hip hop
Yeah,
used to
yeah, yeah.
be. It's more personal stories, and I am really into it. And so I thought Summertime '06 was real good. And Vince Staples is just an amazing personality. His Twitter is so good. Good job.
Whatever.
Anywho.
Anyways, it was really quiet, so I thought
Oh,
everyone
I
was
paused for
gone.
effect. I
Thought
paused
everyone
for
was like, no, fuck you, Madison, I'm leaving.
I paused for knives. I look both ways.
This
Number
is
6 is the Father John, Misty. I love you, Honey Bear. He's a weird personality. I like
Yes.
him. I like this record. It's catchy. It's weird. I like Fleet. I was really into Fleet Foxes this
Oh
year
yeah.
as
Thought you were
well.
gonna say Fleetwood
Like,
Mac.
this was the year that I got into Fleet Foxes, and then I kind of came with Father John Misty. And I mean, Fleet Foxes is still better, in my opinion. But what Fleet Foxes doesn't have that uh, Mr. Tillman has on his own is a lot of personality.
Mm.
And that shines through on this record.
Personality.
And I mean, that's kind of the thing about my whole list is I like albums with personality
Personality.
and
Yeah, I can see that.
charisma, I guess. And he's a weirdo, and I like it.
It's kind of gross.
Yeah, no, he's totally gross. That first song on this album is just
Is that the one where he
he's so
talks about
depraved.
like having sex with a woman who's in a wedding dress that someone died in or something?
Yeah, that's the
Murdered.
single.
Fuck
Much
it out,
more or
man.
less.
That's the single. Yeah,
Oh no,
he's
that's
gross. He
number two.
talks
That's
about like
Chateau Lobby number four. Yeah, that's number
talks
two.
about ejaculate a lot on this album,
Many a time.
and he talks
That
about
stuff.
death a lot, but it's all under the guise of this kind of pretty folky love song thing, and it's amusing and ironic. And that's what I vibe with.
I don't know. I like the music more than I like the lyrics on that album.
I feel you.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's for
His,
everyone that
his
really likes the
personality can be a bit of a turnoff.
Oh,
I
it's a
can see
definite
that
turn
point
off.
of view.
Yeah.
It's definitely a turn off.
100%.
If you're not ready for it, or if you don't vibe with it, then it's like,
Yep.
ugh.
Number 4, In Color, Jamie XX. What a fucking good
Yes.
album. I
Yes.
can listen to this at any point in the day.
This is right now. No one would notice.
Yeah. It's so smooth. It's night driving music, which is always nice,
Mm-hmm.
especially in LA. Night driving is the
Not
best
fun.
part of living
It's
there.
not fun.
I mean, driving, like other people driving, is terrifying, but listening to music and driving is nice. And Jamie XX is perfect for that. What a good album. Way better than anything the XX has put out on its own.
Oh yeah.
So,
Which at some point doesn't fully say too much about. Like on one hand, it's way better, but at the same time, it's better than most records of the year. So
yeah,
it's not necessarily the I was gonna say the Jamie X X's. The
It's
XX.
not a massive accomplishment.
yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
But it's still good. It's a great record, great singles, great dancing. Um, just good shit. Good cover art, even though it's kind of
Oh,
simple.
so good. I love the cover
Yeah,
art.
it's
But
cool.
it really reflects the album, and it's just like,
My favorite thing about the cover art is how it's just a piece of the X is one piece of
yeah,
the X
yeah,
of the original XX. I love that so much. It's
yes.
brilliant.
It's a tasty album.
Oh man,
Here's my
let's say the
top 3,
bridge.
guys. You
All
ready?
right,
You
All
fuck.
ready?
right.
Number 3, Art
Planet Trois
Angels, Grimes.
got up there.
Goddamn. I listen to this record so much. It's poppy, it's fun. It's like if Madonna in the 80s made a really personal record, but it still sounded like 80s Madonna. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense?
It's like Nightcore Madonna.
Yeah. And
Oh,
that's
why
so
do you
great.
say that?
Nightcore Madonna. That's
I
a good
love
way to
her.
sell your album.
And I mean, and it's got this dash of it's pop
Weird.
music, but it's still got the dash of
It's like a pop album
weirdness.
from a
Yeah.
weirdo.
And I
I
love
think
Grimes too as a personality. She's great. She's always, kind of going against what people are saying. Like when people refer to her as adorable and cute, she hates that shit. She's like, no, fuck y'all. I love her. She's a good, she's a good cookie.
Mr. Christie.
Thank you, Canada,
Good.
for giving her to us.
No problem.
The trade
Silent
open.
She's a lot
Nickelback.
The
older than I
ambassador of
thought.
Canada.
I
Chewy.
think she's like 27 or 28. I think.
She's like 27, yeah.
Yeah, she's been doing music for a long time, and this just now is her kind of breakout, which is cool. I'm really glad that people,
Yeah.
um, got into her, because I've been vibing on Grimes for a while, and I love her. And this album is great, and it's catchy. Every song is a bop, pretty much.
You know, I like the way you say "I love her" because I can tell you mean it. That makes me
Yep,
happy.
I really do. She's my girl.
Wish I had a pizza.
She is my girl. I love the song California too because it's so relatable to me. I just get it. I get her. She gets me.
Does
When
anyone
she
want any
says this
noodles?
music makes me cry, it sounds just like my soul. I'm like, oh yeah, that's how I feel about you, Grimes. Thanks.
That's a circle right there. That's a never-ending circle.
Yep. Number 2.
Yeah.
There's a song on another album.
To Pimp a Butterfly
Ooh,
by Kenny Lamar.
interesting.
Gee, it's
Kenny
good.
Lamar.
I listen to this album a lot. I am a Kendrick Lamar. I am a hoe for Kendrick Lamar. I'll just say it. I love Section 80. I love Good Kid, Mad City. I love To Pimp a Butterfly. I loved it the second I heard it. I was sitting in a car with my friend and we listened to it for the first time and I was like overwhelmed because there's so much going on in the record, but it was all just hitting me immediately. And then later when I went back and read all the lyrics and stuff, obviously, it just hit me even more. I
Mm-hmm.
remember when the first single came out from To Pimp a Butterfly, which was
Oh, right.
and people were not vibing on it.
I
Yeah.
love I. I love the
I
studio
love
version
I
of
too.
I. It's so brilliant.
Yeah.
The studio version of I.
I love the single and I love the version that he put on the album, which is the live
Yeah.
version.
Brilliant.
So good. Such a good choice. I just want to know sometimes like I sit and I listen to that record and I just want to like know Kendrick's process and just like sit there and just be in his brain when he does things, you know what I mean?
I kind of don't want to.
I
I
know,
feel like
well, I feel you
if
because then it might like ruin the mysticism, but
no, not even that. Like I feel like if I knew his process more, then I would try and approximate it, and it just frustrated me because I couldn't approximate it.
fair enough.
So I'm like, fuck. So that's why.
He's good. He assembled the team on this record is
Unbeatable.
unbeatable.
There's not a single other creative lead. I think
No.
creative cabal, as it were.
No, like even like when you think about another record that kind of had all these Goliaths on it, which was Kanye, My Beautiful Dark Twisted
Yeah.
Fantasy. I don't even think that touches this record.
It doesn't. It
Wait, who did he
absolutely
have on
does
that
not.
record?
Well,
He
just
had
like
Elton John,
Elton John, like all kinds of people were on
See, the
that
problem
record.
with
Rihanna.
that, I feel like he just had a bunch of people, and that one was great, but it's not.
Mhm.
There is a connective tissue between the artists working on
Yeah.
Butterfly that just to make it exponentially.
Yeah,
It feels more like a
More.
collective.
It's because
Yeah,
of the
and it's speaking to
it's
a
because of like the
specific
blackness of
message.
the music.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Like Elton John
everything
does.
about this speaks to generational blackness that like I feel like a lot of like hip hop records and other black musicians don't really try to
Don't
reach.
hit as much. Yeah, I feel you.
Like you have Funkadelic. You have a member of Funkadelic here.
Hmm.
You have George Clinton first of all, and that
Mm-hmm.
that band is one of the biggest drivings in
Hmm.
African American music. It's crazy. Like this is such an important record for such big reasons, and the team that made it is definitely one of the biggest reasons. Flying Lotus is Coltrane's like nephew.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's related
Like
to Coltrane or something like that, or
yeah,
Duke Ellington. I
like
can't remember one of them.
Hmm.
it's ridiculous.
But
It's
then you also
absolutely
have people who kind of understand really specific pop sensibility. You got like Pharrell,
Yeah,
who
Yeah.
Pharrell's on it.
just kills it.
All right, it's such a great song.
All right is a fucking good song. God damn.
and the song that he produced on Good Kid, Mad City is also really great too.
Yeah.
Oh, that song
Uh,
has Neptune's written all over it, but in a way you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
I love that song. That's Good Kid, Mad City, or just Good Kid, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's Good Kid, I believe.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite songs on that record.
I
Especially
love that
Definitely.
the choruses were really good.
Yeah.
It's so
Mass
cool kind of
hallucination.
listening to Kendrick, like all of his work so far. It's just
Mm-hmm.
so cool to kind of witness his creative transformation. Like I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't think he'll crash and burn. I think he's
Oh, no.
too.
I think he's peaked.
I don't want to say it because that'll break my heart.
Probably.
Look, here's my thing though. He's
There's,
peaked on a level that artists may as well not even.
Try
It's
to
not to the point where
emulate.
you listen to the album, you look at your mic, you just put the mic away in like a fucking Kmart bag, and you go on with your life.
Everyone thought that there was no way that he could beat Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah,
yeah.
everyone thought. I
Everyone
thought.
Yeah,
was
no, I
calling
thought
it
too.
an instant classic, and that there was just no way to beat that. And he took hip hop and he molded it into something that is so much more than that. Like instead of looking back and saying, oh, this is Pac, this is Biggie, whose
Yeah.
influences on hip hop are still being felt, especially in the underground scene.
Yeah.
Instead of looking back and saying that, he said, no, I'm going to look back and I'm going to look even further back and I'm going to find and feel the soul of the music that
Yeah.
was made by, people who,
Yeah, and
were
it's not
going
just as
through.
like people have been sampling the Isley Brothers since forever.
Like
It's
Isley
Yeah.
Brothers
it's
and like James Brown and stuff like that.
yeah, but it's still like it's doing that but bringing it to the next level.
I think
Mhm.
actually Danny has a really good point there. I think in some ways he's doing something that the only other artist I can think who really reached and like got to the fucking root or like the vein of like black music was probably Tribe Called Quest on like
Yeah.
Definitely
Low End
Tribe.
Theory that
Hmm.
deep reaches like straight into jazz.
Yeah.
Like before hip hop, there was not a hip hop record like that. Like
Yeah.
a jazz rap record. I think this does this on a bigger scale simply because it can. At some point, like Tribe didn't like they didn't have the same cabal of people that Kendrick does.
Yeah.
Like there are possibilities that Kendrick has that Tribe just didn't. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if he looked at that record a little too.
Yeah. I think
I
so.
think
Sure,
every
he
hip hop
did.
record should. I think every hip
He
hop record
did.
should look at that at some
He,
point.
he's
If you,
he's looked at so many things. I
yeah,
don't think that he didn't look at Low End Theory,
Yeah,
because
I
Low
don't
End
think he
Theory is a
left.
very important black record.
Yeah, I
You
don't think
know,
he
yeah.
left one stone
I
unturned.
I think he looked at Introducing by DJ Shadow. I
Oh
think he
yeah.
definitely looked
I think everyone
at
looked at introducing.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
but
fucking looked at introducing at some
he,
point. I won't
oh
lie.
he
Goddamn.
he looked at Maggot Brain by Funkadelic. He looked
Which one?
at like
He
he
looked
looked
at
at fucking
probably
Fly
Sly the
Notice, for
Family
fuck's sake.
Stone. I wonder if you looked at
Oh
Like,
that
fuck,
too.
Sly and the
yeah,
Family
Sly and the
Stone is
Family Stone.
so good.
Like
That's my
he
shit.
wasn't fucking around. A lot of people like to say that this album isn't um it isn't offensive enough
Mm.
because it's saying a message that should be offending white people, and there are so many white people who enjoy listening to it.
I
Yeah.
But
think they're missing the
No.
point
that's not,
Yeah.
completely.
yeah, that's not the point of this record. This is not Straight Outta Compton.
No.
This is not Straight
Motherfucking
Outta
Ice
Yeah.
Compton.
Cube. Or another
It,
crazy ass.
Yeah.
this is not that. This is Maggot Brain by Funkadelic. This
Yeah.
is
It's good, is what it
What's
is.
going
yeah,
on? It says
and it's an
war
important
going
record.
on.
Yeah. I don't know.
Takes a nation of millions. That's what this is.
Very good.
Yeah, it takes a nation of millions. It's not,
Mhm.
it's not Straight Outta Compton.
It's good.
Not, and no shots on Straight Outta Compton either. That's a fucking
Yeah.
important
It's
record. I'd
it's
say
it's
this.
talking
Motherfucker
about
named
different
Ice
things.
Cube. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's him.
Yeah.
He's a motherfucker, apparently.
Oh man. All
Number
right.
two, huh?
Anyways, my number one record
You know what it
is
is. Yeah, I
look
know what it is.
look the reason I chose my number one and number two, I strictly looked at they came out the same week approximately, and I
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I genuinely just did this. I looked at what I had listened to more over the year on my last FM, and that's how I ranked it because it was so hard for me to choose between these two albums. And the album that I ended up listening to more was indeed Carrie and Lowell by Sufjan Stevens, which
Good
it's
boy.
it it is it's not even Sufjan's best record. I wouldn't
No,
say.
I'd
People
say
some
it's
people think
second best.
so.
I think a
And
lot of people think so.
a lot of
I
people
don't
think
know.
so, and that's because he takes it to a place that's
Mhm.
more personal than he's ever gone. And for Sufjan, that's saying something because pretty much every record he's done is personal.
Yeah.
But this one digs so deep, and you can really feel his pain. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Even if you haven't gone through something like this, um,
I'm gonna
just
listen to that album again.
the it's complex. It's just it's got a lot. Oh man, it's good. It's a good album,
Very true.
and a lot of people that I've talked to about this record in particular, even though Sufjan is singing about this experience that's so personal and
Yeah.
tailored to himself, other people that I've talked to still can relate to that pain,
Hmm.
relate
absolutely.
to
There's yeah.
anything he says, even if it's him singing about his own pain, it's still so all-encompassing for all of our pain. You know what I mean?
There's
Because at the end of the day, this is a record about a broken heart.
Yeah.
And that is something that tons of artists have sung about, and Sufjan does it. He nails it.
He goes, and that's because I think he made this record without the intention of people listening to it. And
Yeah.
then he had a producer say, "Dude, this is good shit. Let's record this." And
Bro.
he put
one
it out
line
here.
where he's like even though like I kind of like just like I heard him, I got this good, and I sort of moved on.
Mhm.
Even like whenever you guys bring up Karen Lawrence and like that, or something comes up, there's that one line he says. I think it's like, what is that song that sing for the dead? And I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck, this is rough.
His
Like, this
lyrics
is
are really, really like that's another thing is that even though
like I got weirdly teary hearing them. Like, what the hell's going on? Am I crying? Why am I crying? What's going on?
no, I remember. I mean, Sufjan is a lyricist. He's totally a writer, like
Yeah.
literary kind of guy. Even though
Subaru.
on the
Young Sub.
surface his lyrics seem kind of simplistic,
Or they take
there's
a
another
backseat to
layer.
the complexity of his music. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really another layer to the things that he sings, that he says. His rap genius fucking profile is almost as dense as like some hip hop artists. You know what I mean? He's got a lot going on, and he's just one of those people I think is on another kind of plane of reality awareness.
Mm.
He's good. I
Very
like him.
good.
I like that record.
That boy.
Live, it's really good. There's some of the mixes Danny mentioned earlier that live do kind of bring another layer to the songs that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I think
More,
Sorry, I was just gonna say.
go for it.
I think live would just benefit a lot from actually seeing the emotions happen.
Yeah, it does. That's why I saw him 3 times this tour. I was like,
Oh,
I couldn't
wow.
get enough. It's kind of like a
Right.
weird
That's right. You could.
addiction to like,
My strange addiction,
yeah,
Sufjan Stevens.
strange addictions.
My.
Watching Sufjan almost cry on stage.
She addicts to Sufjan Stevens and eats glass and drinks white.
But even so, like, even if this album is painful, there's nothing like voyeuristic about it. In the
Yeah.
way that like Bright Eyes kind of Conor Oberst, when he sings about sad songs, it seems like, oh, look at me. I'm so sad. Feel bad for me.
Yeah.
Oh, those lyrics
He
are crazy.
he what?
I'm like, those lyrics are crazy.
Yeah, so he's not like that. He's really genuine, um, good guy. Good guy. I have a friend who recently met him, and she has been dealing with like all these crazy issues on herself, and she like has loved him for years, and she finally got to meet him recently, and he totally connected like with like could I it sounds stupid, but I feel like he probably could like sense like her own like need to talk about this kind of pain, and he's such an aware, hyper aware person. He's good.
I wouldn't consider that like out of the ordinary. I've definitely felt like there have been people in my life, or even people I barely met, and I look at
Yeah.
them, and I've talked to certain people, and I'm like, is everything okay?
Yeah.
And I'll be like I almost don't ever talk to them, and they're like, well, this and this and this is happening to me, and this
Yeah.
is so like I think there is a level of intuition you can have as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he's totally one of those
That.
people that just he gets shit, man, and he knows he's good. He's good. He's a good guy. And he also did a cover of Hotline Bling that was
Yeah. You
entertaining.
did.
Now, I don't want to. I don't want to kill the mood, but I'm looking at the back of the CD of the I Love You Honey Bear CD, and there appears to be a male rabbit and a female rabbit, and the male rabbit seems to be grabbing the female rabbit's ass, and the female rabbit's ass is quite large, and that's it.
The ass was fat.
The
Oh,
ass
fat
was
ass.
fat.
Yeah.
The ass was fat.
All right, guys, are you
That's on the
ready?
podcast now. That's the gateway into
Let's get
it.
the official Pretentious Taste
The
top 10.
official
This
top
was
10.
just the
This is how
preview.
I calculated it was basically everybody gave their top 10s to me. I made my own top 10. And then what I did was basically number 1 album got 10 points, number 2 got 9 points,
And
number
so
3 got 8 points, so on and so forth.
Oh.
And then I just added it up, and whatever got the most points was number 1, whatever got the second most was number 2, so on and so forth. And amazingly, there were no ties at all.
Ooh.
Because I was like expecting there to be ties and then we'd have to like have some discourse. But there were no ties.
Not this
Tasty
time.
discourse.
So
There's no discourse on this podcast.
clocking in at number 10, and it's just because Danny ranked it so high, was I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside by Earl Sweatshirt, earning 7 points just from being
My
on
power
Danny's
is
list.
limitless.
I should have put
power
that at
of the-
negative 12. So it doesn't reach.
You're welcome. Nice, pal.
Congratulations, Earl. You've made it to the next round.
Hey, call sometime, Earl. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been here.
Number 9, just from being on Chewy's list so high,
Hey!
is Destroyer. Poison
Hell
Season.
yeah!
Hey.
Good job.
Yeah! Alright. I know this story's not getting any love, I know.
Number 8, just from being on my list so high, and then RJ giving it an extra little bump, is Art Angels by Grimes.
Hey!
My girl. She made it. She's here
Good job.
with us
Cool.
today.
I didn't put it on my list, but I like to know that it's on this list.
Exactly. That's how I felt like about this list in general. I was like, I didn't list this, but I'm glad it's here.
Yeah.
Number 7. I Love You, Honey Bear, Father John Misty.
Huh.
Because
That makes sense.
because you and I ranked it really high too.
Yeah, ranked it really
Interesting.
high.
So
What's the rest of this makeup gonna
clocked in at 11 points.
Sweet.
Number 6, clocking in at 14 points because of me and RJ, is The Powers That Be.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
Grips.
Mm-mm.
Which I think I
Okay with that.
skipped
I think you did.
when I talked about it, but it was my number 5. I really liked that
I
record.
think that says a lot. About that record.
I totally just forgot to mention it, but it's my 5th favorite record of the year. I really like Jenny Death. My favorite Death Grips release.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
That's interesting.
Great live. Anyways, it's here now. Congratulations, Mr. Grips.
Then
Come collect your prize, Mr. Grips.
Number
please come-
5, clocking in at 16 points. In Color, Jamie XX.
Hey!
Welcome
there
to
you
the
go.
pit.
There you go, Dave Smith. Do that.
You did it.
Good job.
Your songs were good. We liked them.
They were.
I drank from the milk of electronic David Bowie, and it was sweet.
Here we go. Top 4. Y'all ready?
All right.
And in it.
Clocking in at 24 points. We got Danny's number 1, Harmlessness. By The World is a Beautiful Place, and I am no longer afraid to die.
Okay.
Good job. Emo prevails again. I think it's the reason that it wasn't higher is because I did not rank it. Sorry.
Yeah. All the team. Not really.
Here's a little fun fact I was sharing with RJ. If it weren't for Swans' "To Be Kind," my number 1 album of the year for the past 3 years would have been an emo record.
Amazing.
What was it last year?
Yeah.
Wait, yeah. What
Actually,
was
no,
it?
last year was To Be Kind.
Last year was "To Be Kind," but number 2 was the Hoteliers.
Oh, was it a Hotelier? Yeah, that album.
Yeah.
That was a really good album.
That is a good album.
Home Like There Is No Place or whatever. And the year before that was Nouns' debut.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That's a good pick.
Cool. All right, y'all. Number 3, at 26 points, we got
Most Lamentable Tragedy.
The Titus Andronicus, Most Lamentable Tragedy.
Yes.
Good album.
So the real question here is what's number 2?
Okay,
Is it
You guys want to guess?
Or the Pimp a Butterfly? My guess is Pimp.
No, it's Karen
Yeah.
Lowell.
No,
At number
it's
2?
it's the Pimp a Butterfly.
So RJ thinks it's To Pimp a Butterfly at number 2, and so does Dan.
It's Carrie Low.
Guess what? Chewy, you nailed it. Carrie
Ah!
Low,
Oh.
number 2.
Ah!
Sufjan
So
Stevens.
the official Pretentious Taste album of the year for 2015 is
To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
What was the
Mr.
point
Kendrick
difference?
Lamar.
We them boys.
You did it. Hip hop prevails.
Once again.
Hip hop fights back. Fuck that guy.
Oh my god.
That guy's insufferable. But yeah.
Did you guys see that Pitchfork rated To Pimp a Butterfly? It's number
Yeah, number one and most
and
overrated.
then also the most overrated.
Yeah.
Pitchfork.
That's
What
such
is
a
that website?
.com. It's a
so
shame
our
too
album of the year
because
was the same as Pitchforks and Fantana's.
and many other internet lists.
Yeah,
probably.
in fairness,
So-
many other. Many.
Yeah. I think the only
So-
Sufjan didn't rank very high on a lot of like he was like sometimes in the top 10.
Well, I did the site. I'm not sure if any of you guys use it, any decent music. They yearly they get like a bunch of like other like sort of certified sources, and then they tally it up the way we did here,
Mm-hmm.
and they're the breakdown. I'm pretty sure Kieran Lowell's near the top.
Awesome.
Did
Good.
you say it was any decent music?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounded like an insult for a second. It's like, oh, I don't know if you guys are going here, but it's any
It's
decent.
it's
I thought
British.
the same thing.
It's British, so that's not surprising.
There was a article recently posted by Consequence of Sound. I want to say it was them or Stereo
Oh,
Gum,
great.
and it was the stereotype that your favorite album of this year says about you.
Oh,
And
Well,
the one for To Pimp a Butterfly
That's
was
sort of like consequence of sound.
yeah.
Yeah, it sounds
The
like-
one for To Pimp a Butterfly was non-contrarians with ears. So
Damn.
That's
Holy
really
shit.
good. Non-contrarians with ears. That's
In
fucking
fairness,
funny.
I don't know. Like, I I don't know. I don't know how you can go away from the album and be like, this album is just not good. Like,
I know. I don't think you could.
I don't know. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't.
I've
Okay,
seen
I'll put it
so
this
many
way.
people.
I can see some people are like, I don't like this. Like, it doesn't appeal to me. I can
yeah,
see
but
that.
not
I
saying
think
it's not
if you
good.
look at it academically, like, okay, personally, I don't like The Witcher. I don't like that game. Academically, I can see there are things this game is doing that no other game is doing, and it is impressive, and it is an achievement in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
That even though I don't even like the game really that much, that like I can see, like I don't see how you can just listen to it. I'm like, oh, there's nothing of merit.
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
I can't.
I think that about a lot of things that people are like, I hate this. And I'm like, well, stop. Stop being a loser. Love yourself. Love the people around you. To Pimp a Butterfly.
Drink water.
Kendrick Lamar.
Stay hydrated.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Before
did
Go
we
see
all
Star
head
Wars.
off, yeah. Before we all head off, I just want to say what the year has in store for Pretentious Taste in 2016.
LCD sound system.
Um,
LCD sound system.
Are they gonna release a good record now, or
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, chew.
Oh, Chewy. Oh,
The
sweet
other-
Chewy.
the unexpected knife. The unexpected knife.
it's always the one you never expect.
Nice
That's
and
right, the shiv. Always the shiv. You have to pat down for that one.
It better be fucking good, though, because breaking up for 5 years is nothing.
So, look, guys, we're going into a new year, and with every new year, there are new things to look forward to, as well as new things to not look forward to. So, I'm going to drop the bomb on you right now. What is your most anticipated album of this year?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm gonna be
I
a
think it's so unknown.
hoe and say LP9. Give me some Radiohead. I need it.
That's not fair. I was gonna say Radiohead.
We can
Aw.
both
both
say
say
Radiohead.
Radiohead.
Ed.
Now
That's
it's too
allowed.
late now, and I have to change it. I'm changing it.
Just say Swish.
No, fuck you, Kanye.
Oh,
I'm not doing that anymore. I don't want any until I see that album. That album gets no love from me. Until that album comes out, I don't care.
surprised nobody picked the new Frank Ocean.
Oh,
That was gonna be my
it's
goddamn
never
it.
gonna come out.
God damn it! That was. I
That's
was
gonna
choose
come out
New
this
Frank
year.
Ocean.
Chewie
It's
is
never
getting
gonna come
everything
out.
stolen from him.
Oh man, this
And
is just
the
like.
year's only just started.
Oh, so it's gonna be like
I think
2015 then.
It's never gonna come out.
I think mine's is probably Painting With.
Oh,
But
damn! Come on! I'm just gonna sit here for a while.
I'm gonna
It's
be
either
I'm gonna
Painting
be
with
the only one not
Run the
stealing.
Jewels 3 or the new Swans.
See,
I
my
am
thing on
hyped for Run the Jewels 3.
I'm hyped, but like I'm not like. Okay, I
Yeah.
want to say I'm hyped. I'm looking forward to it because like I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this is
yeah.
the third Run the Jewels, so I don't think they're gonna change it up too much. Which enough, they probably shouldn't. Because Run the Jewels 2 was so good, but it's like now it's a known
It ain't broke,
quantity.
don't
At this
fix
point.
it.
Yeah,
Oh,
like I
yeah.
think I'm getting Uncharted 3 here,
Yeah.
or maybe I'm getting the Last Crusade.
Mm.
Hmm. Okay, it just rose in my mind.
For me, it's either Anko, Paying with, or probably Swans. Especially considering this is their last album as the
Swan.
formation that
Yeah.
they are now.
Yeah.
And we were getting some tasty live songs.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's right. I did experience some of those tasty live songs already. I forgot about that. I forget about that.
Frankie M, Black Hole Man,
Black Hole Man is
sounding
so
good. So,
Just
we'll probably be reviewing that. So I hope, Maddie and
Mm-hmm.
Chuka are both ready for that.
just to spread it out, because my number one Radiohead was taken, and then my number two Frank Ocean was taken. Then my number three, which is a sneak number three, because I'm like, that's not gonna be taken before I talk. Anko was taken, and not even a big Anko fan, but just I love what I heard from Florida. Or Florida. God, I never loved anything.
Flow right.
Bon
Animal Collective.
Iver has something going on too,
Flow
I think, this year.
Florida, great song.
That song is so.
It harkens something that's popular in the vein of MPP,
The
which is
best
one of my
song.
favorite albums of all time.
Bon
So I'm gonna
Iver.
go with Chance the Rapper mixtape 3. So apparently that's coming.
I feel you. What about that M83, y'all?
I have no.
Man,
chance.
M83
I
kind of
don't really
sucks.
care too much for
I
M83.
like
Yeah.
M83.
I want on paper it should work. They're a shoegaze, electronic shoegaze, like shoegazica.
I love M83. Y'all,
Like
y'all crazy.
I wish I
Well,
liked them.
I
Like
haven't given them the chance yet, so.
Y'all.
actually, you know what? Let's just talk
They,
about
they,
albums in general that we are looking forward to. We have some time still.
yeah.
You two, Songs of Experience.
That
Is
that
that
actually
our
is that an actual album?
Yeah.
Wow.
It sounds like I just made it up, but it's
Yeah, it
real.
does. It sounds like you literally just made that up.
I'm kind of excited for the possibilities of a new Tool being released this year, but I say that every year, so who knows?
My mom is
Look,
literally
this
going
is
to
gonna
San
be here.
Diego to
This
see
is
them
gonna be
live,
here.
like without buying tickets. She's just gonna go and pray that she gets in. My mom loves Tool. Just
Not
for
gonna.
everybody who
This is
is
honestly
interested.
gotta be the year.
Hey, Dan. Modest
Hey,
Mouse is
hey.
coming out with something.
Yeah.
I think after last year, that,
Didn't that come
I've
out this year?
been off the Modest Mouse since fucking We Were Dead before the ship even sank. Like
Wait.
that
That
band
album
was
came out
dead.
this year.
Strangers to
Remember,
Ourselves
like
came out
last
last year.
year when you said that
Really?
they were the best band ever?
No, I never said that.
You said
I said
something
that
like one of their albums was the best album
Crowded
ever made.
I do like The Moon and Antarctica.
Crowded West is the best rock album ever made, and I do not think it's the best rock album ever made anymore, but it's definitely the second best rock album
oh
ever
yeah,
made.
that's right. I
Okay.
remember when you
I don't think
changed.
it's that they were
your
even
mind on that. I
close.
remember that.
I think that album is like fucking looking out the window of the McDonald's and everyone having like pancakes. Like, I think that's what that record is.
Are you serious?
Oh
I
no!
think
If this
the
is a
record's
knife fight,
good.
I'm out.
I like The Moon and Antarctica better, but that's just me. I
I
know a lot
like
of people
the
don't actually
first
like that.
album best. I
I
think.
know a lot of people actually don't like that album
I
very
don't like
much.
Long Drive. Like Drama
Mm.
Means a good song, but that's the only song on Drive I really
No,
like that much.
no. Lonesome Crowded West is definitely my favorite.
Yeah, Lonesome Crowded West is solid.
Yeah.
From Teeth Like God's Shoe Shine to Cowboy Dan. That is just hit after hit after hit after hit. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Anyway,
Oh,
The fucking
that
fantastic album.
Modest Mouse is cool,
that
but
Beck album. That's a.
That album doesn't even exist. That's a fucking lie.
It's gotta exist.
It's a lie. This guy,
opinions, opinions,
I'm listening.
opinions.
No, because
Opinions.
he actually
Opinions.
legitimately said
Opinions.
2 albums were supposed to come out when Morning Face came out. He said he had 2 records in the pipe, and then that Dream song came out, which was pretty cool, and nothing,
Yep.
just nothing. And I'm like,
We've got
okay,
a Deacon album coming out this year, possibly.
Right.
Little Deacon solo record.
wow.
then.
I'm
I'm being
just
serious.
Really?
Yeah,
I read
Deacon
that.
Deacon
No, yeah, I
solo
saw
album.
that too.
There are rumors that it is coming out this year.
Rumors.
And they are just rumors, but
Yeah.
There's the Gorillaz album.
Oh yeah.
yeah, there is
Cool.
this year.
Cool. I'm into.
That Blur album was pretty good, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Honorable mention to that album. That album was pretty good. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
You
Wait
wanna-
a second. Hold the fuck up. Okay, that can't be right.
What can't be right?
What?
I'm looking at Wikipedia. Just out of my purview. It says Views from the Six is coming out not only this year, but technically should be out already. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
already out. What the fuck?
Did
When
it
did
just
that
drop?
happen?
Start.
What are you talking about?
What is already out?
It's about to show up.
Oh, Drake's new
What
is?
album,
Oh,
Views from the
wow.
Six, drops
What?
online. Chart Attack 1 day ago.
Holy
Oh, wait.
fuck!
Either
What?
it's what the fuck?
Are we?
What?
Views
That
from
can't
the
be
Six
right.
came out yesterday.
That
Says
can't
here.
be right. That
Drake's new album.
cannot be
Views from the
right.
Six drops online. Read for the complete track list. Streaming options.
Fuck.
It's probably just on
Wow.
like Apple Music or fucking some shit.
Ah, motherfucker.
Title.
Well, I know what the next episode of PT is going to be.
Yep. Black Star, Views from the Six. Here we go.
Shit.
Oh
This
god,
really...
are we actually going to review Black Star?
Let's do
Wait
it.
a second. Is it?
I
I mean, I was
I-
thinking.
I have a written review for Black Star. Y'all gonna clear a week. clear a straight week.
All right, y'all.
All right.
This was the
Keep-
top 10.
Yep.
Hooray.
Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for the support that you guys have given us. Make sure you check the website for written reviews and check the Twitter for updates in case anything else is going on. We do have one last of the year thing to record. That'll be on the Ought to Play It podcast, so listen to that if you're interested in video games. And with that all being said, I'm signing off.
We love you all.
Oh, wait a second.
Just-
Okay, before we go, I don't think that the Views from the Six is
I don't
online
think it's
yet.
out.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this article and it's like, you remember that Rihanna, that the whole Yahoo Rihanna thing?
Yeah.
I'm looking at this article and it's looking exactly like that.
Okay.
So
Lies. We've been lied to.
Rebellion.
All right.
Sorry to be
Goodbye,
the bummer at the end.
No, I'm not surprised. I was looking for it. I wasn't seeing anything. So I'm like, well, shit, I've been lied to.
All right, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.